Thank you for your pledge on Patreon. 9-6.
Hey, yo, Flip.
Yo.
I'm going to put you on to some fire, man. They got this new beard wash company. They got the lotion and the everything.
What's their name?
They got a recovery room.
What's the name?
Maestro's Classic.
G-Money's up front.
I'll put you on.
I'll put you on the Maestro's, man. You forgot the way I brought you? You forgot where I brought you up there?
Oh, man.
You forgot about Ghost?
All right. What's his name?
Ghost, you know again?
He cool, man. Ghost is cool, man.
Yo, make sure you get your Maestro's Classic beard care products today at Target, CVS, or go on maestrosclassic.com and use the promo code QueensFlip to get 10% off.
10%, that's it? I thought it was free if you put your...
Are you crazy?
All right, okay.
Make sure you go there today. Log on maestroswithas.com. I'm from Queens. G-Money!
Yo.
What's up, man?
What's good?
How you feel?
Yeah, man. You know, back at it, another show.
Oh, man, another show, man.
You got me out here again, bro.
Yeah. You know, we gotta do it for the team. You know, I remember when I asked you yesterday, I said, G-Money, he was like, oh, yeah, okay. You are a team player, man.
I am.
I want you to say no so I can get I can get at you.
I know. That's why I think about it. I'm like, if I tell him no show tomorrow, I ain't gonna hear the end of it.
Yeah, how you doing, man? Tell me what's going on. How's everything?
I'm good, man. I actually had a day off today, but I guess not. We'll be here.
Yeah, we gonna get out of here early. We'll get out of here early.
Really?
Yeah, earlier than we usually do.
We supposed to be out of here already.
Oh, well, you know, people have to eat. You know, people be hungry.
Yeah. Nah, that's all good.
I like the hat. What's the hat?
Oh man, you know, shout out to
Oh,
what happened?
yeah, show up. Yo, what's up with for all jokes aside, like. You making me look bad, bro.
How?
They sending me emails like, yo, G-Money, where everybody stuff, Flip, you acting funny. You gotta stop. We a team player, bro. Get funny like me, bro.
I can't be funny like you.
I'm
cool, man. You all right, yeah.
So tell us about.
Hold on. First of all, yeah.
Wait. That's a new song.
I had another one. You know what I'm saying? You heard the money? You hear that? The money flowing through. Yeah. That's the Cash App. Like when it starts to go up, that's how it sounds. And then you hear this again. You know
so what does that mean, G?
That means that, you know, life is good, man. Shout out to what we got here. Shout out to On the Grind Entertainment, man. You know what I'm saying? For the package, you know, appreciate y'all. You know, trap. You know, take risk and prosper. It's a good message. It's a good shirt, good hat. Shout out to them. You know what I mean? Listen, it's up to you, man. I'm a team player. Are you a team player?
I am a team player.
Okay, so then.
But why I gotta?
I'm just saying. The offer's on the table, bro.
So
how you doing, though? You good?
So when they ask you about Queen Flip and outfits, what do you tell them?
I say he's not interested.
Really? You're honest with them like that?
I say, yo, I'll wear the stuff. Queen's Flip. If you want to hit him up, you can hit him up and see what you want to do. But you know, he's not really. You know, he does his own thing.
I appreciate that.
That's what I say. So it's up to you. But if you want me to include you in the packages, I can. You know, they'll gladly send over some extra. What size you 3X? Or?
I'm excited about this next interview.
Yes.
You know, these guys were supposed to come up, you know, a while ago.
We'll get to that too. You'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But
of course.
G-Money.
Yo.
Episode 1, 2, 5. Yeah, we made it.
Oh,
yeah.
Clean version?
Clean version. Because we don't want no flags.
No flags. All right, clean
so
version.
we go, we made it.
All right.
You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Shake on it.
You sure? Nintendo?
Yeah. Oh, snap. Damn, son. G-Money.
Yo.
Episode 1, 2, 5. Yeah, we made it. We got some special guests. Special guest.
My man.
Why you like him so much, man? You like this? I know I love you. Don't give that. If you do that before, that's too much. Don't give it to them.
Out the gate, he might get it.
No. It's two of them.
Out the gate. Well, he looking like he might get it out the gate.
We got Mario Machete and Pirate Taliek. Pirata?
There we go.
Yeah. Good job. Round of applause for my brothers, man.
Good job, Flip. That was two different kind of names.
I had to get it together because, you know, and I'm practicing.
You practice already?
Yeah, of course. How you guys doing?
What's going on, y'all?
Doing well, man. Thank you. Doing well, my brothers.
Okay.
Can't complain.
Welcome to the platform.
Thank you.
So let's get right to it. You know, we invite you guys to the show before. What happened, fellas? What happened, man? Let's talk about it.
Let Pirate tell you.
Either one is fine.
I think we wasn't really in line with the with the way we were seeing the interviews being conducted.
Right.
But later on down the line, we seen them get a little more tighter, a little more different.
Mm-hmm.
So, then yesterday we broke the ice a little bit and we said, all right, son, we could sit down and put together, work it out.
And you guys are here today. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Being honest, you know what I'm saying?
In other words, hold on, G, let me get him. In other words, you felt that it was too much kiki-keying, yes? You didn't know, I don't know why you try to be modest, because you know.
Yeah, a little too much joking, a little too much playing around, and, we felt that maybe we might come out here and not, really be in agreement with the way line of questioning might go.
Understood. But then we broke the ice yesterday.
Right, we broke the
But you
ice
keep saying we, but it was really you, and then you involved somebody else into it, yes?
No, we, because he was down.
We won, man. We won, man.
We on the same
Since we were
page.
little kids, Private Mario Machete.
We checked
won.
with each other.
When he was Taliek and I was a little Mario. So
Right.
I followed him, he followed me. The same way y'all get down, we get down.
Respect, and I appreciate
That's
the
real.
honesty, right, G?
That's real.
So
Yeah, I
behind the
appreciate
scenes, we always contact each other. Yo, what you think? And we work it out. We
I
be
respect the
back and
honesty.
that. That's
man.
real good. This platform's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Some
Absolutely.
people come up here and that's not supposed to be here, or or saying things they shouldn't be saying. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know yourself to know if you're able to come up here and talk your shit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
So I respect it.
definitely.
But as I said yesterday, and I want to reiterate that, you guys are doing an outstanding job, and that's I don't want to be repetitious, but that's the truth.
Thank you.
You guys are doing well. You guys got a good sense of humor. Obviously, y'all been working together for years because you guys, y'all got the format together. You guys do well.
Thank you.
And again, you guys are here for folks like us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we need a voice. We need a voice, and you guys are the ones that letting our voice be heard. In our community and all over the world. And like I tell you yesterday, I'm gonna tell you again today. I know you guys are gonna be successful. So to me, it's an honor, to be before you, brothers, man. I
And
appreciate
you guys
that.
are being more serious now, from what we've been seeing. Because that's the thing, we serious. I'm a serious person, man. He's pretty serious too. And especially if we talking about our life, getting interviewed, something that, we take serious, and especially when we're going to speak about it in public. So we want to be addressed as such,
Right.
Quarterly, that's all.
Yeah.
But that's all we asking for, It's a time to joke and a time to be serious. And I think
I mean, we could joke a little. You don't got to be that serious.
yeah, like I told you, I was honest with you. Before you said that, like I was honest with you. I like you, but G Money's my boy. I'm being honest.
I'm gonna let y'all finish, but I'm just saying, it's wherever the stones fall, they fall.
Absolutely, man.
The
I'm
chips
saying?
fall where they may.
Yeah. But you see, you can't slip over chips. You can slip over stones.
Stones.
So if I put the stones there and I slip, then let me slip and fall.
Absolutely.
He gonna help me up, right, G?
That was
There
good,
you go.
man.
Yeah, but I got speaking of it, cause you see this guy right here, man.
You gotta watch
This
it.
guy, man, and this guy
watch
too.
For me? Nah, I'm a good guy,
I
man.
had a great conversation with you on the phone last night.
I appreciate
You know
that.
what I mean?
I was telling the brothers, man.
I salute you for that.
Yeah, I thank
and a
you,
lot of
man.
respect for both of you.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I
Because you
appreciate
guys
that,
are honest. The honesty is what I like.
Right.
As a man, you could take you could get agitated, but you have no choice to respect it, especially how the message is delivered.
Have to.
Thank
You know, a lot of people, my ego, I used to have a big ego, but my ego was stripped dealing, meeting you guys, all you guys, because what you guys been through, I couldn't fathom going through that now at my stage, due to the fact of such a route that I'm going with my kids and stuff. I couldn't imagine,
Right.
being a part of my family and being a part of that. I mean, I did what I did, you know what I'm saying? I've been through a lot, you know what I mean? But not as much as you guys.
Of course, man.
You know what I mean? And like even when I got stabbed or shot and all the stuff that I've been through.
Jaw broken.
I put myself in those positions, you know what I mean?
Right.
My mom was dead. Not saying that my mom wasn't dead, but I put myself in these positions because I was trying to emulate something that I had no business emulating.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's why I respect y'all.
Understood.
Thank you.
know what I mean?
Understood.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
That's dope. So, when did you two guys meet? Back in the days. When did y'all first meet?
81, 82, C-74. And we ran around there a few months at a time, going in and out. He's from Bushwick. I'm from Fort Greene, so he's right up the street,
Okay.
up Myrtle Avenue. But we were, on the regular, running to each other on Rikers Island. If it wasn't C-74, it was C-76, back and forth a few times. So,
So
sometimes,
y'all been in jail for the first time, not at home.
we met in prison first. We met in Rikers Island.
Right.
Yeah, and then we actually didn't see, he always brings it up, we actually didn't see each other in the street until last year.
Wow.
From meeting when we was 15, 16 years old. 16, 17 years old in Rikers Island in the 80s. First time we was free together was last year at my wife's birthday party we threw up here in the Bronx, in the Club Olivia's. And it's the first time, I was like, yo, you gotta come, because I left them in Attica in 93. That's the last time we seen each other. Attica 93, so to 2018, that's 25 years. And we always, send messages to each other throughout the years, through people. And we ran into people that, yo, I ran into your brother, I ran into your cousin, because we used to always say that. I say, yo, Maril's my cousin, yo, Taliek's my cousin, my brother, depending where he was at.
Right.
And everybody's, oh, y'all saw your brother, I saw your cousin. And then when he came up when he wound up in Attica 93, he was like, oh, man, finally, because it had been a lot of years since we didn't see each other. And then I left there first. I think I went down to Fishkill, and he stood behind, so. And then when he came home, I got in contact with him, but then I left to Florida, we lost contact, and then on Instagram, we reconnected. I came back to New York. The party was going on, and I said, "You can't miss it." And he was like, "Nah, I'm definitely coming up to see you." So, yeah, it was a good reunion, man. We put together, and we've been brothers ever since, man. So
that's dope.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as you were saying, yeah, we go back since we was kids. Unfortunately, man, we were raised in prison. That's the rapport that him and I have. We never. Again, until 2018, we never seen each other in society. Every time we ran into each other was when we were incarcerated in prison. Rikers Island, C-74, C-76, whether it be ACM, C-75, Brooklyn House, or crossing path through the courts and shit when you go to court.
Oh, yeah.
It was always in and out of the prison system, We never seen each other in society. If I'm home, he's in prison. If he's home, I'm in prison. So it was always, in the system,
And real quick, before I get to, we're going to start with Mario or Mario?
Mario, same thing.
Same thing. We're going to start with you with the history. But you guys also came here today because of the cosign from our fellow, our recent guest.
Well, I like to address that because he called us when we got here. Peter Shue, man.
Shouts to him.
Shout out to Peter Shue. Bro.
Tremendous. I have tremendous love and respect for Peter Shue, man. Peter Shue's a great guy, man. He's gotten older, man. He's very humble as you see him, man.
Right.
He's just a man's man. And when I moved to the Bronx, I moved to the Bronx because Pirate actually forced me to move to the Bronx.
Yeah.
That's being realistic. He always get out of Brooklyn. I need you in the Bronx. I've been in the Bronx all these years, coming to the Bronx. So when I came to the Bronx, I met Peter Shue at his party. Pirate invited me to his party. And
Peter Shue's birthday party.
Yeah, it was his birthday party in City Island last year. And that's when I met Peter Shue, and, we connected. And I could honestly say, and I didn't go based on what I read. I went based on his character and his conduct towards me, his personality.
Right.
And I learned that he's a man. So we built a good rapport. And while we built a good rapport, man, I learned to respect him and love him for the man that he is. And I'm here today as well as Pirate because he gave you both his words right here before us. Like he put his word on us. We didn't put our word. He said they're going to be here.
Right.
Because Queen Flip had an issue with that because, we was ducking certain things. And once Peter Shue put his word, we couldn't
and plus
turn it down. We couldn't turn it down.
He wasn't taking no for an answer from us accompanying him yesterday to his interview. We was like, nah, that's your interview. And we were like, nah, absolutely not. We're a team. We run as a team. We got to go together.
Yes, that's facts.
That's real.
So we was like, all right, we going down. We always got to show support.
And here, before they said, first of all, you're squeezing the bottles. I know you're nervous. It's making noise on the mic.
I ain't nervous. I'm at Machete.
Sorry. Well, in here, when he told me it was 12 people outside, it was 10 at first. I called my assistant. I said, what in the world is going on? Then I was walking back and forth like this. I said, yo, y'all go downstairs. I'm going to tell her I'm not doing this joint. I'm not doing no interview. They making it seem like, that they could just come here and do whatever they want. We don't do that like that. It's respect. Why they didn't tell me? And then Ebot came in. He was talking to me like, man, Flip, come on, man. I'm like, nah. I said, but wait for G-Money to come. If G-Money say he's not with it, I'm out. So Ebot came and he was like, yo, first of all, he said that there's two guys out there. I said, oh, 2 guys. He said, Mario Machete. I said, what? He's out there. And he said, and then somebody told me that Pirate was out there. I said, what? I said, oh, man. And then G-Money came and G-Money like, come on, we can make it happen. No, G-Money came and told me first. He told me about Mario being out there. I'm like, I said, Mario didn't even want to do the interview.
He didn't tell you had the special guest, right?
And then G-Money was like, yo, and then I I said, Pirate out there, word. And it broke down. I'm like, man, because I heard so much good things about both of you guys.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? From people that I really hold into high regards. Soul B, B.O., and Killer Cav. And then you, my man, Bino, and people, fans been telling me, yo, and people that know you.
Me, yo, go to Queens.
And then it just like, you know, I said, yo, it's my opportunity to get at them. Because they didn't come up on here and we did a lot of research. Even you said that you found it in the email, right?
Yeah, I had to find the links in the email,
Yeah, G.
That was dope. Yo, so you know, you guys are here. We appreciate y'all coming out. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a classic. So let's start with my man Mario. You know, tell us where you from. Born and raised in Brooklyn.
I'm a Brooklyn boy. My family come from a town called Santurce in Puerto Rico, Barrio Vero. You know, my dad and my moms, they were. When my mom passed away, God bless her dead. You know, they were Hicks. My dad is still alive. He's 81. He doesn't speak no English. He just know how to curse you out, in English. But he doesn't speak no English. And you know, we come from Santurce, and then we also come from, you know, we have family in a town called Ponce. You know, my great grandfather was, as we say in Spanish, Ponceño. He was from Ponce, Puerto Rico. You know, I'm raised in Bushwick. I'm a Brooklyn boy. I'm from, you know, I'm a Knickerbocker boy. You know, I'm raised in Bushwick. You know, my family was from the barrio. You know, I had a lot of family in the barrio and some in the Bronx, but we were mainly in Brooklyn. You know, that's where, you know, my siblings from, you know, it was 10 of us, 2 of them passed away.
Oh, wow.
You know, yeah, my brother, my sister, Dottie, and my sister Julie passed away since I've been home.
Right.
You know, but, yeah, you know, I'm pretty much a Brooklyn boy who now, like Pirate, live in the Bronx, you know,
Okay.
and stuff, you know, but I'm from Brooklyn.
What's the vibe in Brooklyn back then in your time? Like, what was a daily routine for you? Like, what was the vibe in Brooklyn for you that time?
You know, growing up as a kid, you know, my father always installed in us a great baseball player. You know, for black folks, it was Jackie Robinson. For us, it was Roberto Clemente. You know, Roberto Clemente. If you look at most of my pictures on Instagram, I have practically all his shirts and hats because my father made sure that we knew who Roberto Clemente was. And
Did you play?
Yeah, I play ball. I play baseball. In fact, I ripped my muscle playing ball while I was in prison. I ripped my triceps. I played ball, but I didn't hustle on my feet fast enough, you know, to make my father's team. You know, so I was a bad boy. So from that, you know, I got into boxing. You know, that was my second sport, you know, because I was always, you know, getting caught up in the streets fighting. So I got into the boxing. You know, obviously I didn't do well in that as well, you know, but I was, you know, I went to the same gym with Mark Breland. I was trained by a guy named Willie and Freddie, you know, under the leadership of George Washington. I gave Bedford-Stuyvesant Boxing Association gym on Quincy between Gates. Southern between Gates and Quincy. So, you know, I got into the boxing and then, you know, my brother was like very well known in society. You know, my brother Dottie, he was like a street guy. You know, so you know, as a young man, you want to follow your brother. Right. You know, and you know, God bless. Then I'd say he was the bad example at that time. You know, when you were a fighter as a young man back in my days, I'm gonna be 55. When you were a fighter, when you were a troublemaker, you know, women like that. Back then, you know, that's what you know. Today you have to have jewelry and all that to get the women. That's why I bought all my jewelry, you know, and shit. You know, I'm being realistic. But back then, you know, if you fought, you know, you got the little reputation. Women gravitate to you, you know. And if you dance, I used to, you know, I danced. I was a dancer. I was a little day rocker, then became a dynasty rocker as a young man.
I saw a video. I saw a clip of you.
The B-boy.
I saw a clip of you a couple years ago. Still, you know.
Yeah, I dance.
Still rocking.
Yeah. So, you know, that was my thing. But then a good friend of mine, actually my brother's friend, who became like a mentor to me, by the name of Jose Medina, Hound Dog, he came home, and this was the guy who had my neighborhood on lockdown. He was what we call Bushwick, a Hound Dog, you know, and I wanted to be like him.
Old school,
you know, as a kid, I wanted to be like him, and you know, that's when my life changed. I started making poor choices. Now I'm getting caught up. I'm getting locked up. I'm getting in trouble. You know, and that's pretty much, you know, where my life started until, you know, I took a big hit for something I didn't do and went away. Right. You know, but unfortunately, I made poor choices in life. You know, I'm ashamed of some of them. You know, to be quite frank with you, I'm ashamed of some of them. And you know, now my transition is into society is different now. My thought process is different from back then.
Right.
It took that big fall to become the man I am today.
So real quick, speak about the dude Dave. He seemed to be real inspirational in your life as well when you were younger, when you were dancing. Like, speak about his influence on.
Little Dave Rocker he was actually a boxer as well.
Okay.
Little Dave, I see him oftentimes. I see him in the neighborhood. He's on the borderline of Bushwicks and Ridgewood, Queens. And Little Dave was the guy that when we was kids, he was wanted to keep us out of the streets because he knew that the streets was wild, and he never been incarcerated. He never did no time. This is the guy that his thing was dancing, so he made a rock crew called the Little Dave Rockers, and he snatched us up, and that was his way of keeping us away from the negative people.
Right.
But sometimes you see things different in life. At the beginning, it was all good. But as you're getting older, you're making the poor choices now, the bad decisions. So Little Dave was getting pushed to the side, and now I'm glorifying Hound Dog because this is the guy who's actually running the neighborhood. So now I'm getting caught up in things that I shouldn't be getting caught up in.
Right.
I think had I stuck with Little Dave as a young man, I probably would never been in prison. But I didn't. I went the other way, man, and I made poor choices, and I became a problematic person, a problem child at a young age.
Real quick, what dances you know how to do?
Oh man, Queen Flip, man. I ain't got it in me right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't want you to do it now, but tell me the dances.
What dance I do now? I'll give you a little bachata. I'll give you some salsa. I got a little something in me now. Don't you start nothing.
So because G Money did tell me that he respected the fact that you were into dancing. You were very much into dancing. So the thing is, because you speak fast, so I have to slow you down a little bit. Let's get the train back.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So Little Dave how did he approach you about dancing with him? How did that happen? Do you remember that day?
No, I don't remember what I had for lunch, and I just ate, man. And you asked me how I remember Little Dave. You kidding me? But how I met Little Dave. He was very well known in my neighborhood. They used to have back in the days. They used to have the jams in the school parks, back in the schools and shit. Not the block party. These were the jams, and the DJs would come out, and
jams, right?
yeah, they're party jams, and you
Jams,
get to meeting people. So Little Dave knew me as a young man, because like I said, I was into sports, and I got into the boxing. He was into boxing, and the name I was ringing a bell. Back then, my name was not Machete. Obviously, I was a skinny kid. It was Little Mario. So little troublemaker in the neighborhood, and Little Dave would want to grab the kids who names were ringing, who was getting in trouble, and put them all together.
That's real.
He wanted to put you all together to keep you away from the streets. So Little Dave was known for that. Little Dave was always a humble dude. He was not no problematic person. Little Dave was about trying to keep the youth away from trouble.
Respect.
So, and that's how I met Little Dave. So, you start going, you start meeting people. When you in the dance, when you dancing, when you rocking, whatever dance you're doing, you meet people. When you go out to the club, you meet people.
Yeah.
And so. That's how I had met Little Dave, and then we built a rapport, and from there, he took me under the wing as a young man.
And who did you live with in your house? Mom and dad, or only mom?
Back then?
Yeah.
Now I always had both my parents. Thank God for that, man.
Okay, and then tell us about the type of parents you had.
Oh man, my parents, my father was a strict man. Like I said, I come from, they Puerto Rican. They straight, what we call in Puerto Rico, they jibaros.
Yeah.
Hicks. You know what I'm saying? My parents my dad to this day, he doesn't speak English well. He didn't adapt to society. And I'm gonna be 55. He's been here 1,000 years, and he still don't speak English. He know how to tell you "so my D" and "son of my beach." Instead of saying "son of a bitch," he know how to say "so my dick." Suck my dick. Little words. But he was a hick. He's a hick. My dad was he is a hick.
He's still true to that.
Yeah, he's still true to that. And so my dad my dad worked in factories. And my mom's unfortunately she was not very well educated because she didn't speak English, so she was on welfare. You know, so this you know, I came from a poor family. I came from the
You
hand-me-downs.
said warfare?
Well, yeah, she was on warfare. You know,
war or welfare?
welfare.
Okay, I
welfare.
thought
Yeah,
you were
welfare.
trying to
No.
say some
No, not warfare. My mother,
Okay.
my mother, violence was not even. Both my parents, my father don't even know what a preacher looked like. You know, being realistic. You know, I come from great parents. You know, unfortunately, the streets like, you know, it promotes and sells the inappropriate thing for youth at that time.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So what your parents said really didn't mean much. You steered it the other way. But I love my parents. My parents were great parents. That I never went a day without eating. Whether it was rice, I don't know if you guys ever been through this, but I've been through the rice and ketchup and it tastes good. I still try here and there because just to remind myself where I came from.
Right.
But no, my parents was always. My father was a hard-working man. My mother she was on welfare. But I always had good parents. I grew up with all my siblings. I come from
How many siblings?
Huh?
How many siblings?
It was 10 of us. Now it's 8 of us. And I don't know if you guys been around Hispanic people, but I'm not ashamed to say it. I come from a dysfunctional family. Hispanic people, man. Latin culture. My family. They was unfortunate. It was very dysfunctional. I guess it's the Hispanic, the Latin machismo, and so we were always colliding with one another because, the hot Latin blood brings about problems, so, they were very dysfunctional. But do I love my family? Of course I do, but, I came from a dysfunctional family, but I love them all, man.
All right, so we're going to shift gears real quick. Appreciate the
problem.
intro. My man Pirate is here. What's going on? How you feeling?
What's up? I'm good.
Comfortable over there? You good?
Talking the mic, Pirate. Pull it a little closer to you.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
Right there.
Yeah, you good.
Tell us your story real quick, man. Tell us, were you born and raised, and
Yeah, so like him, my parents came from Puerto Rico too. My moms and pops came from the same pueblo, which is the same town in Puerto Rico, Arroyo. Because a lot of parents that's from Puerto Rico, a lot of people that got parents from Puerto Rico, they're usually from 2 different pueblos. They be like, my mom's from Mayagüez and my father's from Patilla, stuff like that. But my parents came from the same town, so their families knew each other.
Oh, wow.
So they met actually over here because my mom was staying with some family that was close with his my pop's family that was out here. So then when he came, they was around each other. And then they, oh, you from Arroyo? So, and then when they got their first apartment was in Williamsburg, which was where I was born. We was there for like a year on Bedford Avenue.
Okay.
I was born in Greenpoint Hospital in Brooklyn. And I guess my mom's had put in, she tells us, for projects back then. And they called her when I was a year old, and that's when we moved to Fort Greene, to the projects. When it used to be called Fort Greene Projects, now it's divided and called Ingersoll, one side, and the other 2 sides, Walt Whitman. So, yeah, and then from there, my first language was Spanish. I didn't know that till recently. My mother said, you guys didn't go to school talking English.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, wow, it makes sense. She said, your father didn't talk English, so y'all first language was Spanish. Y'all learn English every day coming back with new words from school. So me and my sister was like, what? Because we never asked her something that, really, came to our mind to ask. But, so yeah, and then from there, we stood there till like 2001. So my father, like his father, was a hardworking man, and so was my mom's. My mom's did a lot of factory work, seamstress. My father worked in a Brooklyn Navy Yard, which they gentrified now, and they got all kinds of things in there. Right. They used to build boats, ships back then. There's a company called Sea Train, and my father worked in Sea Train. He used to come every day with the helmets, with the S on it, and with pictures of, them finishing the boat. He was a welder. He took welding, and that's what he did. But he also played salsa music on the weekends. So on my Instagram page, you'll see some pictures of me and him, because he used to take me with him sometimes. He always had a band. He started off in a band, and then he created his own bands throughout the years. He had 2 or 3 different ones. They used to rehearse throughout the week, and then every Friday and Saturday, he was playing somewhere all over the city.
Wow.
Manhattan, the Broadway Chateau in Brooklyn, up in the Bronx. That's how he learned the Bronx before I got up there. When I started going up there, he said, oh, you was over there. Because he used to run around there. When there's no GPS, he used to have the papers written, the address written on a paper, and then, find his way there, getting lost, leave 2-3 hours early, because he said he used to always get lost in the Bronx back then. So, yeah, he did that to bring in extra money on the weekends. You know, Friday, you get paid Friday and Saturday, or both days for playing the salsa. Some gigs were big, you know, weddings, baptisms, stuff like that, where they used to pay him and the band well, and he's the one who used to get the cash and pay everybody else because the band was his. So we learned a little.
Play in the band?
Huh?
What instrument did he play in the band?
He was a percussionist, timbales. If you see on my Instagram, there's a picture of him playing the timbales, and I'm right there with the maracas. I'm probably about 10, 11 years old on the stage with a suit. So we grew up, you know, in salsa music with that. And he knew all the big salsa greats. You know, he played alongside them.
Wow.
And, you know, he learned a few things from them. And a lot of places he played, they would open up, you know what I'm saying, for the bigger names and stuff like that. And so we grew up around that salsa music all the time, listening to it. Even though we grew up in Fort Greene, which is predominantly black, but we always kept that Puerto Rican culture within our household and always speaking Spanish, which is why I speak Spanish well. But also going back and forth to Puerto Rico as a child, my mom sent me quite a few times, you know, getting in trouble. You see a lot of pictures, dozens of people be like, damn, how you got so many pictures of Puerto Rico? You lived on? I said, well, I was sent over there a lot, you know, getting in trouble in the projects early. So my mom sent me for a year, 6 months. One time, 2 years, and I went to school out there even, in junior high school. So, yes, and then, you know, my mom's always in church in the projects. You know, they got a church in Fort Greene projects. You know, a lot of people don't know that. Like, Fort Greene is one of the biggest, I used to think it was the biggest housing complex in the city. I read that somewhere, and it turned out it was Queensbridge, I guess by apartment numbers. But the Fort Greene complex is a large project, you know, area. They got a church, a school, a hospital was in it, Cumberland Hospital. A lot of people from Brooklyn used to go there, you know, trauma victims getting shot. My brother was born there, you know, so it was pretty big. It was like a whole big city in itself. And the church inside there, my mom's, you know, was a devout follower of that Catholic church, and my pops. And he used to play in the church too. And when Tito Nieves, the big salsa singer, he came through there, him and my pops used to play together in the church before he made it big. So I know him and his family because that's where he's from. They from Fort Greene, but yeah. So you know, then you know, I had my brother that was 4 years younger than me, Lex. That's in that book with me with the sheepskins. And I had my older sister, and then my younger sister came later. You know, but you know, I had my cousins coming back and forth. Sometimes they'll stay with us, or we'll go over there stay with them. And you know, just getting raising up in the projects on Myrtle Avenue and Prince Street. You know, there was a lot of to get into back then if you wasn't smart. You know what I'm saying? Myrtle Avenue, if anybody know, you know, 60s, 70s when I was coming up, was a wild strip, you know, from Prince Street all the way up to Broadway, you know, which covers a lot of other projects, Marcy and Tompkins and all that. But yeah, we grew up there, you know, one of the few Puerto Rican families on the first side, you know, and then me and my brother, you know, we started off young, you know, in the streets, you know, much like him, we was in the cadets, you know, trying to do the right thing, getting into positive things, but, you know, sooner or later that started getting boring. You know, the cadets was good for a while and kept you out of trouble, you know, cadet meetings, shine your boots and, you know, the little drill team. But after a while, you see the other kids running around the projects, you know, doing stuff that kind of seems more fun than, you know, the boring routine you're doing in the cadets. And once you get into junior high school, and the junior high school I went to, you know, was like the breeding grounds for the 5% Nation back then. You know, I was Sands Junior High School. Anybody from Brooklyn or that part of Brooklyn, downtown area, Fort Greene, and went to Sands, they'll tell you that's where a lot of people, you know, got knowledge of self and became, you know, 5%ers. That's where I became 5%er like at the age of 12 in the 7th grade. And I got my attribute, Taliek Divine, at that time. You know, everybody was 5% at that time. And, you know, the rallies in the summer, the Fort Greene, the 5% rallies are held still in Fort Greene Park during the summer. In the winter, they're on 125th, but in the summer, they're in Fort Greene Park. So, you know, everybody had a Islamic attribute at that time. Puerto Ricans, blacks didn't matter. You know, females and males. You know, that's what everybody was into. So
your real name not Taliek?
No, my real name is Alejandro. Oh, you thought it was a real name? Nah, it's not Taliek. Nah, I'm named after yeah, like a song. With Lady Gaga, Alejandro.
Lady Gaga, so yeah.
Hold on.
All right, man. Everybody relax. Go in the corner real quick, man.
Nah, man. What?
Take your time. Take your time, brother. Flip.
Oh, you didn't know you thought it was Taliek?
His name is Taliek, bro.
Alejandro.
Alejandro. Yeah, I'm named after my pops. I'm a junior.
Why you tell
Alejandro Cintrón.
Yeah, he could have told you that. You ain't asked.
Alejandro Cintrón, man. We go back to his kid. Mario Enrique Perez, Alejandro Cintrón.
We know each other from
you
day
change
one.
your name like that? Hold on, so real quick, pardon me. Let me ask you about. Do your parents end up calling you Taliek at all, or they still call you Alejandro? Do they know it's Taliek at all?
Of course, my mom used to fight with people. They used to call us, be Taliek. Ain't no Taliek here. Boom, hang up my pops too. For years, they hated it. We ain't named you that. But my brothers and sisters call me Taliek.
Or
Yeah, because from back then, so many people, started calling me that quick. And I got pretty known in the streets.
I didn't mean to cut you off. So, tell us the day that you got the name Taliek, or around the time period. Like, what do you remember from that when they dubbed you the name Taliek?
That was when I used to meet up with the guards and the 5%ers at the school, or sometimes in the hallway in the projects after school to go pick up lessons. And, like the first week or two, we were going through a few names. They had the list of names and, what name you're going to pick, or I'm going to pick one for you. And then, we went through a few names, and then I landed on Taliek because I hadn't heard it yet at that time. Now, you hear it a little bit here and there. There were names like Raleek and stuff like that, but I chose Taliek, and then, it stuck kind of quick because I was already, ripping and running out in the street, and people took to it quick. And my brother and sister did too, and then after that it was a rap.
Ripping and running. What does ripping and running mean?
Doing stuff I was supposed to be doing at that age, running around the projects, trying to make $1. Like he said, I come from a we're not from a family of any significant means or a wealthy family, and even though moms and pops always worked and provided, good enough for us, sometimes they ain't have, to get us the things that other stuff we wanted. The Adidas were coming out, the Pumas, the Nikes, the Kangol hats, everything that you see coming into fashion and other brothers getting, moms and pops can't get it. It was 4 of us. I'll get it next month, let me see how I'm gonna figure. I gotta, squeeze it into the budget. Cause I'll get you one, I gotta get your brother one. And, so you can't wait a month, man.
Can't wait that long.
I need it this week, man. Before I go to school Monday, I need it. I can't go back to school unless I have that on.
That's a fact.
So now we in the streets, and everybody, I know how to get money doing this and that. And I start catching on. I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna do it. And then I started going out there, getting my little jewelry and selling it, doing my little robberies and, things I had to do.
Before we get into that, Mario. So, dancing, hound dog, right?
Oh.
And then, when did you first start to get into the street life? What were you doing in the streets?
Again, like I said, I was, my dad had it's a funny story. This is a true story. My dad had a team called Santurce. And I was obviously the bat boy. My baseball game was good. Yeah, that was my dad's team. So he had a team named Santurce, right? And they played 20 games, man. This is a true story, Flip. I don't want you to laugh, man. My father's still alive. I'll bring him up here too, man. I'm telling you, man. So listen to the story. It's true. They played 20 games, and they only won 1 game out of the 20 games.
My fault. Why you prepared me? Why you?
You think I'm joking? It's a true story.
Why?
They only won 1 game. And you know what?
Why you prepared me to? Come on, man. You put me to laugh. I was gonna laugh, bro.
Yo, man, that's my pops you talking about, man. You want to get fucked up?
Nah. Why you said?
Yo, check this out. They won 1 game. And the only reason why they won that game was in Eastern New York. That's when Eastern New York had the airplane. It was the Eastern New York Aviation High School. It was on Fountain in Atlantic.
Okay.
Yeah. That was it. My uncle used to play ball there, Guillermo de los Santos. And my dad, the only reason why they won that game was because the team never showed up, so they won by forfeit.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
True story.
I thought you were going to say because you played that 1 game.
Hell no, man. I ain't never. I had bad feet, man.
Still too young.
So, they won that 1 game. They was the happiest team in the world. They won by forfeit. So out of 20 games, they won 1. And then the team got shut down. So I tried playing baseball, but I had a friend of mine who's like my real brother. I named my second oldest son after him. My son Angel. They call him Showtime. A friend of mine by the name of Angel Marrero, Bebop. We used to play ball together, but yeah, he was a better ball player than me. So again, they put him on second base, and I wish I was a bench warmer. I didn't even become a bench warmer. They just got rid of me. So like sports was not my thing. That I said I went into the boxing and all that, and the
Real
dancing.
quick, Mario, not to cut you off. So did that cause any conflict between you and your dad when you're not?
No. I was a kid, man. My dad was 4'11", but he hit like he was 6'2". So I whatever dad said is what it is, man.
Gotcha.
And that's dad, man. I knew how to respect my parents, and if I didn't know how to respect them, my father was gonna make sure he knew how to make me respect my parents. So my pops didn't play them. My father, he knew how to let them hands go ASAP. 2.5 seconds. He's 4'11", but it was like he was 6'2". And said he knew how to hit somebody. So then I got into the streets and like the sports and stuff didn't work, the dancing didn't work, and then I got into the proms. Just like Taliek. The hand me down, man. Back in the 80s, man, the sheepskins was out. If you notice, I got about 6 pairs. I always have a pair of Gazelles. And you was talking about my glasses. We're going to talk about this later on, though. And, this was the things back in the days. Gazelles was the things. My kids all wear it, man. It made me feel good because they represented me, like everybody know, your dad is your first hero. So they don't have to admit it, but I know I was their first hero, being realistic, and shit.
They don't have to admit it, right?
Yeah, but
they
they ain't their thirst, so they ain't gonna admit that.
Yeah.
But so I wanted my Gazelles when I was back in the days. If you look at pictures of me, I got Gazelles every time.
It cost some money too, man.
Yeah. I wanted my sneakers. I wanted my sheepskin. So I came from a poor family, and I knew that around the corner, Tito had a pair of Gazelles, and I didn't think he deserved to have them at the time. So unfortunately, Tito had to let me use his Gazelles, and he never got them back.
Let you use his Gazelles, right?
Hold up.
Yeah,
Slick.
So one day, you're in a house and you want some Gazelles, yes?
absolutely.
You were walking home from home or whatever, that Tito around the corner has some Gazelles, yes?
Absolutely.
So what made you make the decision to take Tito's Gazelles?
That was a high back in the days, man. That was like a high, like when you was known for fighting and robbing people. It's like you establishing your kingdom. You building a name for yourself. This dude get down, that dude get down. Everybody knew who was tough and who was a sucker. Everybody knew who robbed. Everybody knew who got money. Everybody knew who burglarized. I was never a good burglarizer like my friend Dopey. They call him Dopey. David Reyes. I was not, and his brother Money Mike, God bless his dead. I was more into, I knew how to punch a person in the face and take something. I was too much of a coward to go into somebody's window, and burglarize. I was a coward for that, but I was not a coward to approach somebody and take a chance to take something from them, not knowing that I was putting my life in danger at that time. I was ignorant.
Did Tito? Do you remember how you took the glasses? You took it off his face. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
There's many ways to take this.
No. Did you know? No.
I don't remember. I'm using Tito as an example. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so sometimes it's let me borrow them, and they got lost. And then when Tito came back to get listen, they got lost, and if he didn't set it, then we fought for them, and that's it. They got lost. Or there was time where, in the 70s and 80s, if you remember when the Gazelles and the sheepskin was out, a lot of people and the goose out, a lot of people was getting robbed. That's what it was. So sometimes you have to use certain instrument to let Tito know that you meant you want those glasses or you want that sheepskin. Because my mother ain't had no money for no goddamn sheepskin, being realistic. I know my mother didn't. We barely had money for food. So when I bring it to the house, my parents were like, where you get that from? Oh, and I use it, I'm just using Taliek as an example. Oh, Taliek let me borrow it.
But in all reality, you took them from a person like Tito.
You damn skip it.
But I just wanted to know, was it strong arm? Was it, I just wanted to know.
It was.
Was weapons involved at the time?
It was problem. It was things was taking place. Things were taking place, man.
So you think that, because you told me that you know how to dance around answers. Yes?
I used to dance, man.
So this is what you think you're doing?
Little Day Rockers.
Because, in my opinion, in all due respect,
I'm with you.
You ask to borrow them and then you didn't give them back.
Yeah.
But then that's different from taking them from somebody, right? No?
Yeah, it's not different. Same thing as taking them, When you borrow something, you take it, Something that you don't give back, that's not yours, is taken. That's being realistic. Something that you don't give back, It's taken, and unfortunately, I
Like you
made
dead somebody
I
or-
made them poor choices. But that was what we called the wave back then.
Understood.
That's what it was, man.
That's how
you know,
you had to move.
if you had no business wearing, if you wearing a chain, you better be somebody to wear that chain. If you was not nobody, before Taliek take it, if I can get it before he can, I'm gonna get it. That's just the rules. Some people,
Somebody gonna get
it's
it.
not. I'm not saying it's right. It's wrong, and I don't want to. I don't want no young person to see. Especially
Take
my
that.
grandkids who's gonna be looking at this interview. I got 12 grandkids. I don't want them to think that their grandfather is about doing this. That's who I was when I was ignorant. That's no.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to those foolish pleasures no more.
Respect.
That was then.
Taliek,
Yeah.
you was a
Pirate.
sticker pirate. Pardon me, pirate. So you pirate. You was a sticker kid as well. Yes.
Yeah, I did that for my early teens for a number of years. Like him, burglary wasn't my expertise either, but I first started doing. I first got into crime when I ran away from home. I ran away from home at 12, and then I went back home like after a couple of weeks. I started messing up in school. And, my parents was having it. My pops, like he said, his pops was strict. And anybody who know my pops from back then, like everybody from the projects remember, like, yo, just the way my pops looked at people, man. They didn't want no part of it. They didn't want no smoke. My pops, still to this day, yo, I remember your pops. I was like, yeah, pops was something else. So, he had the pressure on, man, when I started messing up. And a few times in school, he came up, embarrassed me. I started wearing the do-rags, the Kangos with the creases in it. And he wasn't liking the way he was seeing me, dressing now. Because, when you see a kid start dressing like the hooligans out there, you already know, what road he's going down.
Right.
I see that now because I got kids, I got sons. So, when you're young, you don't see that. But he was seeing that. And then, and then where I lived, a lot of things were going on. A lot of fucked up shit was going on. Shootings on a regular, murders, all kind of stuff was happening. Everybody know about Fort Greene, Brooklyn, and especially at that time, the 70s. So I decided to run away again, but by this time, we had made some friends one time in the Puerto Rican parade. The Morales family, they had a little girl with them, a baby named Jessica, and my little sister was just born. They were around the same age, and she was Jessica, so they was calling Jessica, my mom was calling Jessica, and they was like, oh, her name is Jessica, her name is Jessica. So this is how we met these people. This was a wild family from East New York, Brooklyn, but they were living in Flatbush around Cotelli Road at this time. So anyway, we exchanged numbers. Like in a day or two, I gave my address and they popped up in Fort Greene. All the brothers, they was like, yo, boy, and then we went to their house. We started hanging out. They were a little older than me, and if anybody knows about Flatbush back in the days, there was a lot of burglaries going on. Flatbush was based on burglaries. The burglary game was crazy. Everybody was running to the prison mostly from Flatbush back then. Was, yo, what you in burglary? I already know, don't tell me. So everybody's burglarizing houses and stores and everything.
Wow.
So they was heavy into it. So when I ran away again, I planned it this time. I said, I can't come back, man, because I'm going through the same thing. I want out. I wanted out at 13. And I took off. And I went to their house. And they was living on East 21st in Caton, right off of Church Avenue. I stood with them. This is a true story. My mom's still alive. My father's still alive. Rest in peace. My sister. I stood away from home. I put this on one of my pictures on Instagram. 8 months for a 13-year-old. Your parents don't know where you was at. Was gone. Police. I don't know if they did the milk cards, everything, flyers. I disappeared. I lived with them for 8 months. I started burglarizing with them first. So out of a few burglaries we did, I was able to get me my first pair of Adidas. I never forget on Delancey. Started trying to 3-car Molly, hustling around Delancey Street and going out to 42nd Street because they had some girls that were boosted. So I started getting the burglary boosted, but it was never my thing. When I finally came back home after 8 months, now I was a little older, 14 going to 15, started playing with guns, and then, Fort Greene, everybody was sticking up. That's what I was more interested in because I knew it was just a quick take. That stealing and putting stuff here and your heart beating out your chest, trying to make it out the door. You don't know if they following you. I used to see people get grabbed at the door. I was like, that ain't for me. Or getting caught inside a store. He was like, you trapped in there. Police like, yo, come out. And that wasn't for me. I was like, I need to be taking stuff like I see everybody. And, once I got my hands on a few guns, then I started, approaching people and then eventually till we got into stores. The first sheepskin I got, I took from a dude, and a lot of my homies from the projects remember that. We was talking about it the other day. We had a shotgun that didn't shoot. And we was talking about it the other day with my homies. It's like, yo, you remember the shotgun? We was taking pictures with a whole bunch of guns on the roof. Some of them worked, we was shooting them. And then I said, I'm taking this. And nobody cared because it didn't work. Because I saw the sheepskin. This kid had, this young Puerto Rican kid that came from Puerto Rico. He was working at the number spot on the corner. The fruit store was a number spot on Myrtle and Prince. The Cuban Armando had that number spot. He had somebody working there new, and the kid had a great sheepskin. I don't know how he got it, where he got it from, but I'm from New York. I don't got one yet. He's from Puerto Rico. He ain't no English. And I'm like, I'm taking that sheepskin. I need that. So I caught him one day on the avenue. It was evening. There was nobody around. I was waiting. So I seen him coming back from somewhere. He probably was doing a number run. And I approached him like I was like, oh, yeah, man, I got Spanish. And I pulled that shotgun that didn't shoot. And he was scared to death. He took it off quick, threw it on the floor. And he ran the opposite direction. I grabbed it, ran into the projects. Once I did that, I took my first sheepskin, and then we stepped it up from there. But my homies, we had a little crew, G Money crew.
Wait, what?
We had a crew called the G Money crew with a few brothers, some that are there, some that ain't here.
Word?
Yeah. It was before 50 Cent and all of them came to the projects. 50 Cent didn't get to Fort Greene till like 81. But so 80, 79, 80, we started running around, and then we started doing the stores on the avenue, the people we knew. As kids, like you say, we're ignorant.
Right.
We would come up with little scenarios. We went in with masks one time, and the dude still knew it was us, because we just finished buying in there. He told the police, I know exactly who it is. They had on masks, but these are kids that come in here every day. I can see through the holes in their eyes who they are. He said, show me a mugshot, and he picked me and my homeboy D-Wiz and my man Scram. Shout out to D-Wiz and Scram. They home now, still alive. Anyway, they picked us through. That's the first armed robbery we caught. We jumped over the counter, took all the cash. We said, make sure you get the cigar box. We knew you had the money in the cigar box, all the 20s, 50s. So we took that. And then, that was the first time on the island, 82.
Wait, hold on. So who's a part of the G Money crew?
It was quite a few of us, man. It was R. Kim, rest in peace. Kid Joe, D-Wiz, Sammy Whammy, my man Sly. It was about 6, 7 of us.
What the G stand for? That's just a. I'm just.
Yeah.
I gotta ask these questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You did a good job. You thinking like
G Money for us at that time. G's was for $1,000. But people always say, "Oh, G Money, Get Money crew," but it wasn't really Get Money crew. It was the $1,000 Money crew. It was the G Money crew. So, and then after that, we started getting a little more serious with it. And
so yeah, real quick, we're gonna go back to Mario, but before we get you D-Wiz and who else?
Sly, Kid.
No, we talk about that at the
My man Sham Dude, Scram, aka
Sham Dude, yeah.
Talking to Mike.
My man Scram, Sham Dude.
Yeah. So y'all he pointed y'all out. Y'all got locked up for that?
Yeah.
They came and got y'all where? In the project, in your house? And
The project in the house.
And then what happened? What was the outcome of that situation?
We was our first case. We got probation, 5 years probation, 6 years probation, 3 years probation, stuff like that. And then we caught all the robberies while we were on probation. So, we wound up having to get time later on.
How much time did you do from the robberies that you did?
The robberies 2 to 4, the first one. Yeah, 2 to 4, 2 to 6. Gun charges in between. We had to do a bullet on the island, 2 bullets running wild. Before the heavier state biz later.
So, Pirate, so you're there, you're booking shit, you're booking stores. What was the biggest situation that happened? Some that you came up off of, but
What, down there at that time?
Yeah, at that time, yeah.
We did a jewelry shop in the mall back then. Yeah, about 10 of us. We got quite a bit of jewelry at that time. The mall had just opened in 81. I was away in Puerto Rico. And then I was in a program out there 6 months when I finished a program called Al Crea. When I came out of the program, they sent me back to New York. And there was a mall that opened while I was away. And then over that year, we were scheming, running around Fulton Street. That's when the mall was kind of popular. It was just open. Everybody was coming through. People were getting robbed. People were scared to go down there. People come from other neighborhoods. And they had a jewelry shop right by the Flatbush entrance but they had a little exit on the side, 2 doors away from where the jewelry shop was at, and it led to a hallway. At the end of the hallway, you open the 2 doors and you're in the street. We was like, they asking for it. There was no cameras back then. So we went in and we took it down. Everybody, we went in with bags and masks. Next day, everybody had nuggets. When the nugget jewelry was out, we all had nugget rings, nugget bracelets, nugget watches. And that was one of the biggest we did. We took quite a bit of jewelry. I don't remember exact amount, but everybody had bags. All the skinny stuff, all the rings, trays of rings we threw in. So we divided everything.
Man.
Sold a lot of it and kept
Money.
some. G Money crew, yeah.
Mario, back to you. So, you're in the streets, run around, you book people for shades, and then you show how tough you are, because I heard you're a tough one.
Don't believe everything you hear.
Don't believe everything I hear.
Even if they're saying something good about me, don't believe it.
Even if they say something good about you, don't believe it.
Absolutely, man.
So I gotta be in the middle.
You gotta be in the middle, man.
So I have an important question to ask you.
Sure.
For you, when did things start to move? Like, as you in the streets, and when did things start to get heavy for you? Like, and what I mean by the word heavy, meaning when did the action start to occur? A lot of things going on.
It happened in the early 80s, man. It's like probably like 81, 82. I remember my baby sister, they call her Nettie.
Okay.
None of them. A guy had disrespect my sister in school. So when I had my first sheepskin, just like Pirate, I use the word borrowed, I like to use the word. It sounds a little more sophisticated. When I borrowed the sheepskin and never returned it back and shit.
But why you gotta do? But listen, hold on. You're not glorifying it, Mario. You're not glorifying it, but you took the sheepskin. How did you take the sheepskin?
I didn't give it back. I borrowed it.
Did you beat him up for it?
Pretty much.
Now, because you're a big guy, I'm pretty sure.
I was not big then. I was a little dude.
You showed me a picture. You were tall, right?
No, tall. I look like that shrunk.
I thought you shrunk. I'm joking.
¿Qué pasa?
No, did you? Was it one of the situations where somebody ran from you because they knew who you are? You pulled it off, or you took it off?
Yeah, man. I don't know if you ever heard the word the element of surprise, man. But the element of surprise is motherfucker. Sometimes you can sneak the toughest motherfucker, man. If you caught him off guard, you came out on top.
You
man.
said that, yeah.
It's
me,
real.
yeah.
I mean, so my first stint in prison was my little sister had got disrespected. I'm never gonna forget that. And I had a sheepskin, but in the sheepskins back then, you know how you had the pockets in the inside. You had a pocket, right? And I used to have an axe, like a little small axe. That because I couldn't afford a gun then. You know what I mean? So I had a little axe I used to keep on my sheepskin. So when the dude disrespected my sister in her school was in 291 on Palmetto and Gates to Knickerbocker Wilson and shit. This baby in the house, besides my little brother, and I took matters at hand. I regret what I did then, now, but when I did it then, I didn't regret it because it was my little sister. He tapped my sister in the backside, and she told me, and when I went to her school because I wanted to make a name for myself, I wanted to be the so-called, tough individual. I hit the kid with the axe over the head. And I kind of split his head, and that was when I first got locked up. That was my first, time being arrested. And I went to Rikers Island, and that's when I met Pirate, But
that's where I was at.
It was I wish I would have never done that back then. But when it comes to your family, I love my family. You know what I'm saying? Regardless to how they would feel about me. I love my family. So, I had to do with the accident. I got locked up for that, for assault. But because it was my first offense, they gave me 90 days. So you wind up doing 60 days and 30 days good time. And, they gave me 5 years probation. Back then, back then you get a lot of probation. When you get locked up, when you get locked up, everybody knew you was getting probation if it was not something.
70s and 80s, the first felony, 5 years probation.
So I got I got the 90 days and 5 years probation. I did 60 days, and you start before I went to jail, because that's jail, that's not prison. Before I went to jail to Rikers Island, I already knew what it was because individuals that was coming home from jail and prison would tell you, the things that happened in prison, and what you had to do in order for you to survive. So I already visualized prison before I got into prison. I already knew that everybody get tested and all that for whatever, jewelry, sneakers, whatever the case may be. And I knew that if you give whatever you had up, then you was going to be someone's herb. So if you take that ass whipping to get that ass whipping, you going to get the respect.
Not only that, you got to go back home and face your neighbor.
Yeah. And, and I didn't want to be nobody's herb. So, I went through the system, I did my little bid. We was, back then when I got sentenced, we went to C-76. That's when Pirate Night was in 6. It's called the 6 building. Yeah. She said, that's when you get sentenced. The adolescents wear the beige, the adults wear the greens back then. And the parole violators back then used to wear the blues, which were state prisoners. And, I came home and you never realize, because, if you know the word ignorant means that you really don't know. That you don't know. So you never realize that you graduating.
Yeah, you don't see it. Yeah.
You don't see it. Yeah, you never realize that you graduating. So when I did the 60 days, and my family came to see me, they used to bring the mother of my kids to visit me, because she was underage. So my sister Miriam, who we call Puti, she used to bring the mother of my kids to come see me. So when you come home, you look at it like, damn, them 60 days, I did an all right bit. I didn't really have that much problems. So you continuously getting problems because it's like an industry. That's all prison is. But you don't see that as a young man. So
that revolving door was a heavy play back then, man.
I kept getting caught up and from robbing or borrowing a coat and the gazelles, now you get into, robbing the big boys, who getting the drugs or, who selling drugs. And it's like you graduating because now it becomes a high. You're looking for, the better things. The sheepskins go out the window now. Now you want the watches, the jewelry, the cars. Back then was the dirt bike. So you want to graduate, and unfortunately, I was going that route.
What was the name of the sheepskins? The brand. What was the name of it?
It was sheepskins. We knew that sheep. We used to call them sheepdogs when we was kids.
So sheepskins. So real quick, was there any consequences besides getting arrested for hitting the guy in the head with the axe? Like, did he have any of your family that was official? Was there anything?
Not like the neighborhood like I said, the neighborhood where I came from, we had a crew that I got involved with when I was young. It was, you had the Koski Oscar boys, you had the HBO, which was the homeboys only, and then you had the crew called the Busted Loose. But I came over under a crew which was, with Hound Dog, Mello, my brother Dottie, Money Mike, Big Hawk, and it was called DC, Death Crew. Mm-hmm. And that was the crew I was in. And, you hear the word death crew, you think, it's murder. And I was not no goddamn murderer, but I was down with these
death
heavy hitters. Yeah, death
DC.
crew. Yeah, DC. And so I got down with the death crew. And, and before you know it, this guy got 25 years, that guy got 20 years. And I was like, I ain't trying to get all that time now, So, but I was getting caught up in my little problems. Mm. So it's like, I graduated to the street and, a lot of people didn't want to really get involved with problems with Death Crew on my way in Bushwick. Death Crew was one of the most notorious crew that came out in Bushwick back then. They were really wild because you had a guy when you speak Hound Dog and truth be told, like a lot of dudes were scared of Hound. This guy was he's still incarcerated. He's going on 40 years. This guy was like he was a murderer, man.
What makes people scared of them? I mean, is it because their behavior erratic, they murder random people, or they have certain principles about them, or when they get mad, they turn into another person? What would you describe them as?
I think anybody that uses a weapon, whether it's a gun or a knife, and enjoys doing it, because that's what happens, and enjoys doing it. I mean, some people may sit back and say, you know what, I know if I get into a problem with this guy, if I ain't going to go all the way, I'm going to leave it alone. And things like that does happen in the world. So Hondo was that type of guy that if he pulled the weapon out, you could bet your last dollar before he put it in, that weapon was used, man. That's who Hound was, man. He was, this dude was like Notorious, and I wanted to be like him.
He's older than you, yes?
Yes, he's still in Cosmo. I visit him. I visit him.
Do you remember the first time y'all met? How did y'all guys meet on the island? I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna ask him.
I think what it was is when we was in the island, Hispanic. So we Spanish, and I mean, history wise, we know I know I'm Black history wise. I know my history.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I know my history. So we were the Hispanic individuals with the waves in our hair, you know, with the gold fronts, and what we call,
from Brooklyn.
we dress like a black man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at, he want to be on some outlaw stuff today. But we was back then. We was dressing.
We were hip hop.
We was hip hop. That was the thing.
We seen pictures of this guy.
Oh, he was a fly dude when I was with his kids, man.
You want to show him now?
He was a fly dude when I was a kid. So we used to dress. So we used to lie to people, man. We used to tell people that we were cousins, and some people would say we were brothers. That was the relationship we had. We never had an argument. We always met in prison. So every time we met, we linked up. Like his problem was my problem was his problem.
Right.
Everybody knew that. You fuck with Taliek, you fuck with Lil Mary. You fuck with Lil Mary, you fuck with Taliek.
Right, wherever you at,
so
separated.
We always was together, and we was in different houses, we're trying to get pulled to the same house so we be together, or we ran down on each other in the hallway, whatever the case be. We extended ourselves to each other. We always had that kind of relationship. That was the rapport we had,
Yeah.
What you recall from you guys first meeting, the first time y'all linked up?
I took an ass whipping one time for him. Not for him. We was at my bed one time in C-76. It was probably 85 or 84. It was 18 and 19, and we was I think we had some beef with some dudes in another house, and we was making some knives. And I think on our first knife we said, yo, we need to make some new knives. So, we could be ready when we go to the yard or whatever in the mess hall. And we was sharpening it on my bed, C-76, in the dorms. It's like double bunks, the metal double bunks, like 70, 80 people in the room. I had a bed by the window, and we was sharpening it. He had his man with him, with Heavy, right?
Heavy.
Yeah, Heavy, because Heavy was thick. He was big. Yo, come on, man, you got more power. He was, it get tiring in your arm after a while. We need that fine, sharp point. We got Heavy sweating bullets. We watching them like this, and then they call a count. When they count everybody, they count the heads. You got to line up in the middle of the dorm. So we like every other count, you just walk to the middle of the floor and then you go back to what you was doing. Right. You was in the TV room or the bathroom, whatever you was doing. So we like, the count. All right. So we was on my bed, just put it right into my mattress. As soon as we got on the floor, in the middle of the floor, lined up in twos, the search squad rolls in, because they used to do that. A lot of times they catch you in the morning while you sleep, or they'll catch you while you're standing on the count. It's a random. Mm-hmm. Bam. We standing on the floor. I can't get to my bed. I can't run off the line right now. Run to my bed and get the knife. So they went straight to the bed. Nobody moved. So everybody just looked at me and said, "Damn." I just put my head down. I said, "They gonna find it. It's my bed." So, they find it. But it was on 14 bed. They just snatched right there. Boom, like 10 COs are blocking. They threw me in the slop sink. That's what CO Tiger. You remember?
Yeah, Tiger.
She was a female dyke. Yeah, CO Tiger
shit.
with the curly hair. We went in the 6th building a few times to the same place. We wound up there again. So the Seals knew us.
He always used that against me. You know what I mean? That's your man, Flip. He always used that against me.
But
CO Bonet used to beat up the
Beretta.
Yeah, Beretta beat up the young dudes. So they stripped me and they beat me up, and they threw me in the slop sink and put the water on blast. Remember, they put the hot water so it could steam up the whole room and locked it. And then she took the valve off, so you can't turn it off. So I'm in there, and then I'm sweating bullets. I'm dealing with it. But then she opened the door, and then she see me. I was like, all right. And she closed the door for it was like 20 minutes already. So I said, oh, they think I'm all right. You're young. They say, oh, these kids all right. But they scared at the same time. Anything happened to you. The next time I heard her open the door, I just dropped on the floor. She's like, get up. I was playing like I was suffocated. And then CEO Camacho like, get up, man. Get your shit, man. And then they put me in. And I got caught the ticket and went to the bank 30 days. But it wasn't like that. They let me out at 15. But yeah, that was one I took for the team early on. So once I did that, that put me on the map with everybody. Because when you first meeting up in there, we hadn't gotten in trouble yet to see if somebody was going to hold weight or tell. Because it would have been somebody else. It would have been like, oh, it was not mine. It was the dude who was making it, him right there. That used to go on. So you can see everybody looking like what's going to happen. They took me out of there. But, I already knew what I was going to do. You know what I'm saying? But they wasn't sure. Then after that, everybody knew. They was like, nah, he hold weight. Took the ass whipping, took the big time. He ain't getting nobody up. We good. So we always remember that. We always laugh about that. But that's one of the good times I remember of us in there young.
That's official.
Yeah.
And so, you guys are, real quick, Mario, you come home, you down DC crew, yes?
Yeah.
And then, where do we go from there?
It diluted. After a while, most people that was down with the Death Crew, they got incarcerated, and was stretched. They got a lot of time. Like I just showed you, my boy Hound, he's going on 40 years in prison.
How long does he got?
He had 25 to life for the parole board continues to hit him. This is a lot of people not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I gotta be real. This is the first. That's the first dude who actually exposed and robbed Larry Davis. Hound Dog in Rikers Island in 1986, 87. So Hound was like this dude, like, he had the island, he shook the island. He really, really, you could ask any individual, Hound shook the island down, man. Like anything that happened in any building back then, in the 80s, had to go through Hound.
What do you mean rob Larry Davis? Larry Davis is the guy that escaped out the window, yes?
Absolutely. The guy that just got killed a few years ago, yeah.
Shot the 6 cops that time in the Bronx.
Yeah, and he got away with so much bullet holes. And
Yeah.
And how did he escape again through the window?
I don't know how he escaped, but he was in the island when I was in the island. He got knocked right after me in 86.
Okay. Was Larry Davis on the island, was he respected on the island initially?
When we was never in the same house. We crossed paths and stuff. But no, when I was down there, back then you had like I said, you had Hound, you had Preem, you had before I don't mean to mention this guy's name, you had Fat Cat, and you had I don't mean to mention this guy's name neither, but unfortunately I have to. You had like Glazed, all the dudes was down there then. You had a lot of dudes that was, shaking knees. They was doing their 1-2 back then, whether it was getting busy or selling drugs, whatever the case may be. So it was in the '86. It was the crack epidemic. So prison was like flooded. It was crowded, and
that's when I saw. Oh, because not to cut him off, but I actually saw him. That's crazy. I forgot about that. I actually saw him when he got knocked on that case for that body. Because I was I was doing 2 bullets running wild in C-76. That's 2 bullets, 2 years running consecutive for a gun charge and a year for the violation of the probation I had. So I was up there 19 months. And I had a job in the Brooklyn house, what they call, I was a time man. So a time man is, they'll put you to work in one of the borough houses. That's when they had the Brooklyn house, Bronx house, Queen house, and the Tombs. And then you sign up to go work, and they'll house you at that borough jail, and then you work there to whatever job they give you when you get there, be it the receiving room or cleaning up. And I had the court bullpens. I wanted the court bullpens so I could see everybody coming through Brooklyn. Everybody's coming through, and I knew everybody. So I had my chain showing off, with my sneakers looking fresh, with the BBD nylons, my waves rocking. You get to see the females and everything when they come through. So I'm down there working in the bullpens, midnight sanitation. And we would clean up the bullpens and in the visiting room. And every night we could hear when the last court, from the last judge is coming through. And we told them, come on, we got to run that, because we would sell, and we would buy jewelry or rings. People come through starving and try to see what jewelry we could get. We have our cigarettes, everything. We loaded. Yo, what you want for that ring? People starving. Yo, cigarettes. Food. We had sandwiches. And on that chain gang, I hear the chain gang coming. That's the tunnel that connects to Brooklyn House, right? From the courts to the Brooklyn House, and you come through there, and then from the Brooklyn House receiving room, you get shipped out to Rikers Island unless you stay in the Brooklyn House. So I'm working that shift every night, and we hear the chain gang coming, so we run down, we waiting like this on the gate, and here comes Mario, chained to my other man, Anto from Gowanus. So I knew both of them. I'm like, oh shit, man. He was like, oh, Taliek. So I remember that's when I was working. I was getting. He was like, oh, you blew up. So I was getting my waist in my first time. I have skinny arms like a teen, but in this bit I was like, I ain't going home skinny no more. I was doing double time on them weights, and that's the first time I saw him. He said, yo, I got the murder charge, and I was like dumbfounded. Right? I was like, what? I was, come last day, you talking a light bid. I'm finishing up these 2 years on records. I get ready to go home. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, man, we'll talk about another time. And then, they shipped him upstairs, and then so I got to see him when he actually caught that. That was another time I forgot.
Hold on. You said that Preem and them, everybody was in there, Fat Cat and everybody was in there. And, so I asked you if Larry Davis' name was synopsis or ringing bells around there as far as like respected. And you started to say that people were there.
Yeah, back then, I'm sorry, back then when you're involved with murdering a cop or shooting cops or anything involving with cops, you're gonna get the utmost respect until people place close scrutiny to you and see the real you and what type of individual you was. So at the very beginning, and what he got knocked at the end of '86, I got knocked at the beginning of '86. That was like the wave of Larry Davis, went at it with the police. So everybody was impressed by that, but they didn't know what was behind that, and the fact that unfortunately, he had a rapport with some of these cops. So once that got revealed, the respect that you have.
Got stripped of it.
Now it shrinks. It gets stripped.
Right. Can you tell? I know you don't like talking about other people's stories, but what was it exactly? He was a informant for the police.
I wish I had the kids, because I don't like speaking about something that I don't have before me, right? But I'm gonna share a story with you when it comes to Hound Dog, because it was like a deep story. Hound Dog had deaded him for a bracelet. You know what I'm saying? But the bracelet was passed from one individual to another and to one of our other crime, God bless that, named Pee Wee Prince. And, when he mentioned Larry Davis' name, Hound told you, let me borrow the bracelet. Back then, you borrow people's jewelry or whatever while you have your jewelry. So you want to go on a visit and you want to impress these people. Female, you want to impress the girls on the visit floor. So you want to go out there with 100 chains and here it is, only one chain is yours, unless you have 2 or 3, being realistic. And when Prince told Hound that it was Larry Davis' chain, Hound said he dead. He ain't get it back. And the reason why Hound said that was because Hound had discovered that Larry Davis, when he got locked up, and his paperwork on that is in the law books. If I have to get it and bring him up here one day, I will do that. I got no problem with that. I could get that for you ASAP. Mm-hmm. And he was giving information on ongoing investigation that had nothing to do with him.
Mm. It was paperwork stating that.
Yeah, it's called law paperwork, law book. Mm-hmm. So that's when an incident took place, and unfortunately, Hound Dog had got he got snuck behind taking Larry Davis' bracelet by Larry Davis crime. I was already up north when this took place, but they a lot of people didn't know that Larry Davis was bad, and some that even knew that, right, and They turn their cheek the other way because who it is, Some individuals, they know that this individual is no good, but he busts his gun and they accept him. I don't subscribe to that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? If you're good, you're good. If you're no good, you're no good. I don't care what you don't did, who you don't kill, who you don't stab. If you're no good, if your jacket is dirty, then stay the fuck away from me.
So people in prison, like I said, by having to shoot up with the police and escaping, he was put on like a pedestal, and then the paperwork came down as far as like he was cooperating with the officers, right. And then they wanted to do something to him.
No, not that they wanted. Let me tell you something, man. Larry Davis is not what people made it seem. Larry Davis was, to be honest with you, I was with him in a few spots up north. I never had that relationship with him because after his name started circulating and certain things. We never was in general population. We was always in solitary confinement. His brother Eddie Davis was better. I had a good rapport with him. He was a good individual. He ain't had nothing bad in his jacket. But Larry was in the box with me. You know, he became a box monster. You know, so he was in the box going at the police, claiming they jumped him. Then he had the other brother. I don't know if you remember the incident when one of his brothers said he had got raped. The police put the baton up his asshole or whatever the case may be. This was a big thing. There was a lawsuit. This was all in. This was all
in the Weema?
No, his brother, his actual brother.
Oh, okay.
Not that, but this happened in prison. So, all right. So when all that was out, you know, a lot of people was like not caring about Larry Davis. Like, you know, they knew Larry Davis ain't hurting nobody, man. Larry Davis was not, you know, not to talk bad about him. I don't like talking bad about a dude that lost his life. You know what I'm saying? He was not a violent person in terms of prison. I don't know about society. He may have shot police in the street, but Larry Davis was not, you know, he ain't never, you know, did nothing in prison, you know, like to uphold his name or that reputation. You know what I'm saying?
And he passed away in prison.
Yeah, he actually got killed by a friend of mine in prison.
What year?
Right before I
Few
came
years
home.
ago,
It was
right?
about 11, 12 years ago. So I was in Sullivan Correction Facility. His brother was locking downstairs for me when it happened, and I was in Sullivan, and it happened in Shawanga. You know, he fortunately he ran into a good friend of mine that, you know, he about that life, and unfortunately, you know, incident took place, and Larry Davis lost his life. You know.
Yeah. And this was before Larry Davis was coming home.
Absolutely. Before both of them was coming home. Before Blue Boy was coming home as well. Blue Boy had like about 2 years to the parole board. Yeah, when it happened.
Do you think that did he get in? Is he in trouble for that or no?
Blue?
Yeah.
Of course he got served for that, man. You don't take a dude's life in prison. You ain't gonna get, you know, you gonna some outcome gonna come whether you get placed in solitary confinement or you get a new bail. Yeah, you know.
No, you mean if he got caught, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Blue got caught. That right, man. Yeah. Blue. Yeah. I'm in touch with Blue. Blue boy.
So you're doing stuff in the street.
Yeah.
Now, where did it got heavy? You got with the DC crew. Now tell us, he started to speak about it. I don't know why he did. I hope you get at him when you get on the phone. You know what I mean? But because he want everybody to listen. You know how a pirate is. Yo.
What I said?
No. It's all, bring us back to that time. So you're in the street heavy. People know you. What were you, before I ask you this question, what were you known for on the street before the incident happened where you were lied on? Because it's not, you have a whole theory. We'll get into the theory about snitching and lied on. So what were you known as in the street first?
You know,
around
like
that time. You hit the guy in the axe.
Yeah, after that I was known as fighting trouble. You know, what people gonna tell you, or I'm sure they have told you, I was a troublemaker, man.
They told me you were a troublemaker.
Yeah,
you used the word troublemaker so vaguely, you know.
It became like a part of my lifestyle, you know. Unfortunately,
did you get the word machete on the street or in prison?
Nah, I got that when I was away. Actually, I never gave myself a name. I didn't even want this name. This name was given to me by the Cubans. My man, Angel Saldina, Angelito el Cubano, and Chispa, and you know, Roman. The Cubans, they pretty much like took me under the wing because back in the 80s they had the Cubans that came from the Marielitos, they were called. And, you know, these are the ones that Fidel Castro got rid of. And when they came to the prison system in New York, you know, them and the Hicks, or the Boricuas, they got together, and it was like it was a disaster. Them Cubans was like, they was about their life. So my man Angelito Cubano, he's the one that actually gave me the name Machete. I didn't want the name because I knew by having that name, I had to live by that name, and that was a big name to carry back then. So when they gave me the name, the Cubans, they used to call me that. I despised the name at first, but then everybody just started calling me that, and that caused me to live to a reputation, you know, live to the name while in prison, and you know, get caught up in shit. So I got that name in prison, you know.
What does machete mean?
It's a knife.
Machete.
Like a machete.
It's a machete.
And they just gave you the name because of, I mean, you know, like, come on, man. Like, stop, bro. Like, I respect you, but stop. Why did they give you the name? What did they witness that you did?
Because when my parents used to send me to Puerto Rico, I used to cut sugar cane and shit, you know?
Why did they give you the name in prison? What was the incident that they saw that you gave?
Yeah, because I got caught up in a couple of incidents where, unfortunately, I
You had the oversized knives.
I had to take care of certain things. I had to. My grandkids, see, let me tell you a story, man. I have a sister when my mother passed away by the name of Ana de los Santos. That's my second old sister, she's 65, Annie. And she going to look at this interview, and you're not going to get me beat up by my sister. I'm letting you know right now. My sister will whip my ass like I got to answer to her. I got to be careful what I say.
What I'm saying is that you paraphrasing, and the people want to know how you got the name Machete.
I got the name Machete.
What was the incident? We heard it. The Cubans gave it to you. What was the incident?
All right, I got the name Machete because, I used to fight, and my man, they told me, yo, you know how to use your hands. So, this is prison, man. I'm going to show you how to survive in a better way and how to make a name and how to stab individuals, how to go from point A to point B, establish your kingdom because, when you're in the belly of the beast, in prison, we call it the belly of the beast. When you're in prison, man, you have to set. This was home. They gave me 25 to life for a crime I didn't commit. So prison became home. So now I had to take my Clark Kent uniform on and put on my Superman uniform on and survive. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because see, the things that you do in prison, or at least for myself, I can't speak for someone else. You normally won't do in society. But prison is a different world. It's a different environment. So now, you have to survive. And it ain't that people were, start trolling me. Cause I never had this, this chain here, man. Not to brag about it. This is my jail chain. I came home with this. Got dudes that was wearing skimpy chain. I just put diamonds in. That's all. But this is actually, if you look at my prison pictures, you're gonna always see this chain on me. This is my jail chain. People was getting robbed for little thin stuff. I was wearing jewelry because I established myself that this is home. Unfortunately, my peers was getting, shot down. They were getting denied. So this also, I was getting caught up, and I had to do certain things to uphold the name Mary Machete.
So let me ask you a question. So you're openly admitting that you got that chain from prison, yes? It wasn't yours initially, no?
I borrowed this chain.
Oh, man.
So it wasn't yours. Do you remember who chain it is?
Nah, I don't remember.
Is the person still alive? Or you
I don't know if he's still alive.
So what if he come home and he see this and he wants his chain back?
Man, listen, man, there's a lot of things can happen in life. I could just walk out this studio and get hit by a car.
No, you wouldn't.
It can happen.
I don't feel that way. Don't put that on yourself.
No, but it can happen. So I'm
asking you about, I'm asking you if the person wanted to change.
I ain't got no more bad luck. The 27 years was a very bad
luck.
Your
new life that you live in, would you say, you know what?
Who?
I'm asking you.
No, I think Shaquell. Shout out to my man Shaquell. Shout out to Shaquell, OG Shaquell. Saludo, mi hermano, saludo. Let me tell you something. I think Shaquell said that in my interviews, right? One time I was in Clinton Dannemora in 1987, and Shaquell, man, you need to hear this guy's story. This guy's crazy. He used to rap. They grew up. I met him in prison. He used to rap. He used to rap and stuff, right? So we were in Clinton Dannemora in Upper H, and man, he was so annoying because every day he'd be on the gate. So, make a long story short, an individual had some music and stuff, and I said, damn, man, I need to borrow this to give it to Shaquell to keep him off the gate.
Right.
So I went and I borrowed the guy's radio.
He was rapping on the gate?
All day, man. He said that in my documentary. You're going to hear it. So I went and borrowed the radio and the cassettes, and I gave it to Shaquell, and then it was me and David Willem, big artists from Lower East Side, big Arthur's brother. So when I went to the yard, I had about 1 million Muslims waiting on me, because they said, I borrowed the guys radio and cassettes, and never gave it back. So I come out to the yard, and guys was waiting on me. I guess they wanted to, they wanted the shit back, and I'm like, when I borrow things, I don't return it, and it caused a little friction, and
Shaquell was telling me about that,
and but I got him off the gate because now he got some music. He had just came out of key like Shaquell, so I was able to get him off the gate to hear music, and I didn't have to hear him rapping all day because he couldn't rap for shit.
Me and Shakur the same age. He was in my class, second, third grade. He's from Fort Greene, from my side. We the same age. He's older than us. This guy's old.
So
He's only a year older.
Pirate, before we get to you, so you cut somebody up.
Hold up, you saying that?
Yeah, I'm saying this.
Okay.
So my opinion. Hold on, I have something I'm gonna read, but I'm gonna wait till before I read that. My opinion, how you got the name Machete is, as my good friends Killer Kev or Soul B would say, you made a movie. And by making a movie, I guess I just want to know the movie that you might have made. Was it in front of a lot of people, or was it heard about? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you know some people don't care. Like, could you obviously knowing your character, you had no choice to make the movie. So we're not going to. I just want to know about the chain. I definitely want to hope the person get their chain back if they come home. But
You gonna give him a chain?
yeah, of course.
All right, so I'm gonna find somebody. So you give him a chain.
I think that we can work out something, you and I. I think because you're a new peaceful guy. But I just want to know if that movie was made in front of people. Did you have no choice to make it? Like the movie that was made that made you get the name Machete.
Let me just say that, right? You know, I fought the fight that was presented to me. What I mean by that is like if you were a man, you know, I was able to tell you go get your stuff and let's deal with it like a man. And I'm not saying it to impress you. You know, probably have been present when I've been in situations. So if a dude was a man and he had a reputation, a name, and you know, I felt he deserved a fair one, like a man. I didn't sneak him. I told him go get your shit, and we went where it had to go, whether it was with weapons or hands.
Knife,
we went there. But if you was a slouch, then that's the rules of prison, man. I'm gonna treat you like a slouch. If I had to get you any which way I can, I'm gonna get you. So I've been in some situation where, I mean, one day Soul B did me a favor, man. Shout out to my brother Soul B, and I appreciate that. I was going on the FRP. I was legally married, and I was going on a family reunion program, and a friend of mine had a little incident with another individual.
Television.
And you know, I committed myself, and I made a promise to my man. I said, you know, homie that gave him the weapon against you, you know, if he lands in the block with me, whatever the case may be, you know, I'm gonna take care of that for you. And it happened that way. So one day I was coming out, I was going to go see my man Jimmy Lee from 183rd, Jimmy Aponte, in the yard, 'cause I was playing baseball in prison, and this individual sucker punched me. But in the process of sucker punching me, he had a razor in his hands, but he did it backwards. He should have cut me first and then punched me. He thought because he was like 6'2" and had a little size of him, that punching me had knocked me out, and then he was going to take care of business, because that's what normally rookies do. You understand? So when he punched me, it kind of caught me off guard. And you're getting ready to hit that bell again. My man from Hollis, Queens, by the name of G Money. You know, he's from Hollis, Queens. He did 26 years. He's home now. You know, G Money came to my aid in terms like when we start rumbling, me and the dude, he was bigger than me, so I had to pin his hands, you know, with my arm, because he had a razor. He was taller than me, and I didn't have nothing, so I had to drag him. They had like a IOC room in my liaison committee room, and I had just got fired for it. So what I did was, I'm being realistic. I'm being as honest as possible. I knew that he had the best. He had me because he was bigger than me. He had a weapon, and I didn't have a weapon. I was smaller. I was not this heavy. I was smaller, so I had to grab him. And they didn't know while the people was walking, because I'm sure that other individuals was involved with this. You know what I'm saying? They kept walking to block the police so they won't see the commotion. So I had to protect my face. I didn't want to get cut because I'm disarmed at the time. So when I grabbed him, I went into I took him into like the IOC room, and we fell in, and my man G Money was in the computer. He was in my liaison committee. He just jumped out of nowhere, and we commenced on whipping this motherfucker's ass. You know what I'm saying? We whipped it. Literally whipped his ass. So when he runs out at the IOC room. I stayed in the IOC room, so I had like a little scratch, which went away. It was that regular scratch, not from the race, I guess from, you know, his clothing or whatever. Yeah. So police came in the room. So I stood in the IOC room. He left, and when he came back from the yard, because they went out to the recreation, dudes was in the yard, and I had sent word to my man Jimmy Lee. I said, if anybody does something to him, because the yard wanted to go up, I said, if anybody does something to him, we're going to have an issue, because he tried to get at me. I never experienced that in my life. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I want him to come back. I want to deal with him. So I didn't have a weapon at the time because I was going to the yard innocently to play ball. So B, you know, and this is a true story, So B made a razor out of a can top. You know what I mean? So when he made the razor out of the can top, I'm looking at the, you know, I'm not calling him a rookie, so we're going to get the record straight, but I'm saying I'm not going to go, you know, I'm not going to war with that. His thing was, I'm trying to give him whatever I can to survive at that present moment. Right. You know, maybe he'll scare him away. So when I looked at that, I said, I can't do nothing with this. I might get hurt. This dude got a weapon. This ain't going to get me where I want to go. Mm-hmm. So I took the typewriter in the inmate liaison committee and had a rod. And we broke the typewriter, and I made a weapon right then and there. But now we had an issue now. In order for me to get back into the block, I was in shorts. I need to have state greens in order for me to stay out my cell. I didn't want to get in my cell, and I didn't want him to get in his cell, because had he gotten in his cell, he's bigger than me. He probably would. I'm not gonna make this fight fair now. But I'm gonna fight you like a man. But I'm not gonna. If you whatever you got on you, that's what you use it at that moment. Mm-hmm. So I had spoke to my man Rennie. He's home. Kevin Smith said, Rennie, I need somebody to give me a pair of pants. So Rennie went and got this, I forget the brother's name, he told the dude to trade my shorts for his state greens. So when I put them on and Queens flip, I swear if you laugh, we gonna rumble. Oh my God. He gave me a pair of state greens, and they were so tight on me, man, that if I fought it, them shits was gonna split. Go ahead. I'm dead serious, man.
Damn.
Yo, he gave me some state. Yo, I got all I want to do is get this dude. So I put the state green on, and they was hugging my shit, you know. And I'm talking about all around the board, you know. So I came into the facility, and I saw B's calling me through his cell. We in Shawanga, they got glass, and I told Soul B, let me know when he come in, give me the signal, go like this with your head. That means I know he walked in. So when the individual walked in, Sobe gave me the signal, and you know, I said, you know, a lot of people like Sammy Kawasa and them was mad at me because I gave him a fair one when he tried to sneak me after we put our word that if we had an issue, we would deal with it face to face. Yeah, we, you know, and I didn't sneak him because I thought he was, I thought he was the same person I was, a man. So when he came in the block, I already had the weapon out my hand. I said, yo, you know, today you're gonna become a man. Like, we gonna rumble. You know what I'm saying? I could have snuck him like I had him. And Sobe went like he looked at me like, what the fuck you doing? Like, and I gave him a fair one, and I went to the box.
Got you.
That's good. Oh, man. Shout out to G Money, though. He's like a good guy.
Nah, G Money's my man. I'm in touch with him. That's my man. Yeah, he from Hollis, Queens, too.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he from George Martinez, my brother, man. I love him.
So, let's talk about the crime that you were accused of. What was that crime?
And on February 22nd, 1986, a good friend of mine by the name of Marlon Chrissy was killed. They shot him twice. At Woodfield and Central. I lived on Hancock and Knickerbocker at the time. He got shot twice at Woodfield Central. So at the time, you know, I was having two relationships. I was with the mother of my kids, and I was which is a neck Guzman, and I was with you know, my childhood sweetheart as well, by the name of Wilda Pacheco. So I was at Wilda's house. I was cheating on the mother of my kids, you know what I mean? So I was with her. So when my friend got killed, a friend of mine by the name of Maurice Earl Duhaney, Garfield Carl Duhaney Carl, he had called me because his brother was locked up, the twin Earl, and told me that they had, you know, killed our friend Marlon. So I immediately, got dressed. I came out the house. I was in Palmetto and Knickerbocker. The case took place, the incident took place 13 blocks away. So, I'm going towards my house, putting them in Knickerbocker. I'm getting ready to grab the mother of my kids and my children to go home to Hancock and Knickerbocker. And when I got to my house, before you know it, I got locked up. I was brought out my house, and I had some police waiting on me, and they accused me of killing my friend. And,
Wow.
And I went away for a crime I didn't commit. I wound up doing, they gave me 25 to life, and I wound up doing 27 years for a crime that I didn't commit. I went in 86 and came home in 2013.
But what made them think that you committed the crime? How did you get associated with that?
There was some individuals involved, unfortunately that I don't know who's on the sideline. I don't know if it was if people got paid to say that I committed this crime, or I mean, like I told you, I was a problematic child. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people was getting tired of me in the neighborhood, pretty much, and I guess I'm just assuming this is not predicated on facts.
Right.
I'm assuming that probably they said to themselves, killing him would probably cause a problem, but if we could get rid of him, you know what I'm saying, it would be more safer than killing him. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm assuming. So they forcefully lied on me, and I went away at the age of 21 and came home at the age of 48.
When you say they, you're speaking about
individuals.
Okay. Individuals.
Who?
Individuals.
Well, have some. So I have a document here.
You have a document?
Yeah, and then if I don't, I'm gonna act like I do. So apparently, from what I know, what I've heard, 2 men and a woman told on you. Not told, lied on you. Yes?
Absolutely.
Because you broke down the definition of snitching and lying. You
need me to break it down for the world, man?
Yeah, because you felt that these people are not snitches; they're liars. Can you break it down?
All right. We use the word. A lot of people use the word snitch fluently. I really like using the word fink, F-I-N-K. If you don't know what that word means, you should look it up. F-I-N-K. All right, and F-I-N-K, which means a stool pigeon, a confidential informer. What we call a rat. I like to use that word better. It sounds more professional. It sounds more eloquent. As opposed to snitching is like everybody use that word now, so I'm trying to stay away from that word. I use the word fink because a lot of people don't know what it means, but I do know what it means. All right, so when you're a snitch, when you're a fink, right? If I commit a crime, if I go and walk up to this individual and rob him, and you see me rob this individual, and you tell the police, then you're snitching on me. And the reason why you're snitching on me is because I actually committed the crime. So you took it upon yourself to let the police know this is the individual who committed this crime. That's called snitching. But if I didn't commit a crime and you went and told the police that I committed a crime, then you're lying on me because I didn't commit the crime. I'm not gonna say you snitched on me. Although the street code is snitching, I'm not gonna say that you snitched on me because then I'm admitting to a crime that I did not commit. So I consider that you lying on a person, which is even worse than a fucking snitch.
Like a lying snitch.
It's worse than a snitch. So in my case, I was lied on. There was no concrete evidence, with the exception of hearsay, and you can look at the word bolstering, and that's what they used to convict me.
So what I heard was 3 people, a woman and 2 men. One of the men named Bushwick Bill, who was part of a legendary group called, what was he part of?
Ghetto Boys.
Ghetto Boys. Is that his name? I just want to make sure, I'm not that old.
So I'm not old?
I mean, you're a DJ. So Bushwick Bill, right? And I asked you this privately. I asked you one of the questions. A lot of stuff is going to stay off record, but these are one of the questions that I asked you. And I said, Mario, why would these people tell on you when earlier, or lie on you? And earlier you stated, like you told G Money just now, told us as far as your behavior. But
that's not predicated on facts.
Not predicated on facts.
Yeah, I don't know why a person or individual would put me in prison.
But those three people, all I know is Bushwick Bill, and that's all I know. And those three people, were they ever in cahoots? Were they friends, family, related, or they're just friends?
Well, I want to answer a question. I want that I got to take my hat off for this one. Now, you're going a little too far from, but that's another story. But I have a documentary coming out.
Facts.
And I want to respect the people who have documentary, which is Crime Faces.
Shout out to Crime Faces.
Shout out to Crime Faces. That's a family. But I will tell you this much, that I am actually innocent. I'm not going to say who are the individual that told me or who didn't tell on me, but I could tell you this, that I actually grew up with Richard Stephen Shaw. I grew up with Jean Pierre, and I grew up with Kim Terry. And if you don't know who Richard Stephen Shaw is, he was born December 8th, 1966 in Kingston, Jamaica. That would be Billy the Midget, who people call Bushwick Bill. I actually grew up on, God bless his soul,
So, shout out to Crime Faces.
Okay, shout out to Crime Faces.
Shout out to Crime Faces. You got a documentary come out, which I, spoke. And you could breathe as heavy as you want. Yeah. And I'm not taking anything from Crime Faces, but at the end of the day, on this platform, about 3 days ago, So B stated that, and I just showed you the message from a guy, that Bushwick Bill told on you. So now I asked you, he told on you, you grew up with him, were you friends with him? Did you pick on him? He didn't tell, he lied on you, pardon me. Did you pick on him? What was your rapport with Bushwick Bill, or you want to save that for the?
That I can speak about. That,
okay.
I'm not gonna talk bad about. Yeah. I'm not gonna talk bad about a deceased.
He just passed.
Deceased who?
He just passed away.
Deceased. He passed away. Yeah.
Passed away this year, right?
God bless his day. I grew up actually. We grew up like his family. I know his whole family. I know his mom. I know his brother Chris. We grew up. We was like. I never had an issue with Billy. I never had an issue with any of them. He was like a little brother to me. He was a few years younger than me. He was down with I introduced him to a group called the Bushwick Posse, which my little brother was involved with that. My little brother Carlito, and also the boxer Poison Junior Jones. You look up his name. He's a professional boxer. I was just recently with him. Yeah, look it up, man. He's a bad boy.
I mean, you're trying to divert me, but I'm on the subject.
You're listening.
I mean, you're trying to divert me, but I'll look him up.
And we all grew up and stuff, and we grew up. We never had a problem. Billy was like a brother to me. And in 1986, I went away, and he moved to Texas, and that was it.
So you don't.
Sorry. Sorry. I love you, bro. Well, hold on. As I reiterated, I will reiterate. So B stated on this platform a couple of days ago. I have the footage. I can play it on live if you need me to. It's on the computer. Footage P100843. So that's the name of the footage on there. Okay. So B stated that the guy who is Bushwick Bill told on you. Now, you're saying that he moved. Do you think that he moved forcefully? Did he move for his protection? What do you think he moved? Did he just pick up and move? His whole family moved, or did he move? Was he put in some sort of program, in your opinion? This is all opinion now.
I don't know what he moved, but shout out to Soul B, man. I don't know why his family moved. I guess they had a better life in Texas.
Interesting.
He became a rapper when he went to Texas. He did his thing. He became a rapper.
Do you have the paperwork, or did you have the paperwork of people that told you?
I have my transcripts at home.
And
it's called minutes transcripts.
Minute transcripts, and the people that told you. Let's say the person or the people that told on you. Did you witness them tell on you? Were they point you out? Did you have a trial? Did you witness them tell on you?
Crime Faces is coming out with a documentary soon. I want you to watch that too.
Yeah.
It's gonna come out. When it come out, you'll get some of that information. It's gonna come out. You're gonna see some stuff.
So you can't say if you.
I can say what I want to say, but
you on trial? So I'm asking you.
I went to trial. Yeah, I went to trial. Yeah.
So you blew trial.
Yeah, blue trial.
So that means you were pointed out on trial. You had witnesses come against you.
Yeah.
And Bushwick Bill was one of the people.
I don't know who was one of them.
Exactly.
I don't
You
know
do
who.
know. You do know.
No,
But
I don't know.
But we're gonna respect crime. First of all, pardon me, my man, Pirate. Pardon me. I got something for you as well. The thing is, I got a lot of respect for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
But okay, we're gonna save the details of the trial for the documentary. We're gonna ask the people to watch it. But
However,
There's a but.
however, of course there is.
that's Queen Flip.
Queens flip, not Queen.
Flip. Same thing, right down the block, Flippy.
Mario, listen. But the thing is, listen.
You can do it, man. I'll fuck with you, G.
You were lied on, and this is what's important. This is what I need to get to convey to the people. You were lied on, and allegedly, someone. I mean, it's not alleged, but obviously you're saving something for the documentary out of respect. And shout out to Crowd Faces one more time. But Bushwick Bill told on you. He pointed you out on trial.
That's what you said.
He told. No, that's what happened. I got the transcripts.
That's what you're saying.
I got the transcripts though.
That's what you're saying.
You didn't know I had a transcript, did you?
That's what you're saying.
Hey yo, get the screen. See you.
No, we ain't gotta go through it now.
Oh, see, I had a surprise for you. Oh yeah, look, give me your shade. Oh, okay. So yeah, breathe. Yeah, get the breathe. You ain't give me the transcript. Oh, for the record, you ain't give me anything.
All right.
You ain't give me anything. But the thing is, I'm gonna respect it though. I'm respect
that,
it.
man.
But I just want to ask you one question.
Sure.
Let's speak hypotheticals right now,
Yeah,
because
right.
you have
Yeah,
some
we
come
got
out,
that,
and we don't want to take food out of nobody's mouth.
It ain't about food. Let me get something clear with you. Let me get something clear with you. It ain't about food.
It's about principle.
No, it ain't about principle neither, man.
Sorry.
I'm gonna tell you what it's about. You need to understand this. It's very important, right?
Teach me.
And it ain't about money, because they could give me $2 million, $3 million right now, and it ain't gonna compensate the loss. I did 27 years for a crime I didn't commit, and in the process of doing that, I lost a grandson, I lost grandparents, I lost my mother. You know what I'm saying? So, while I was in prison suffering, other people was enjoying life. You dig what I'm saying? But it's about vindicating myself. That's what it's about. It's not about the money, man, because they could give me all that money, and the fact of the matter is that I went away February 24th, 1986, and I came home February 26, 2013. So you could give me all the money you want. Those 27 years, you can't give me that back. So it ain't about that. It ain't about the money.
So in order to get vindicated, because before I ask that, let's speak hypotheticals real quick. As a person that go to prison for a crime he didn't do, and watching a person, not saying any names, but allegedly told on you, but they're living their life. They're a rap star, or they're a singer, or how does that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
I mean, when I was in prison, man, and there's an individual who's out in the street right now, and I'll say his name, because hopefully, man, he would listen. He's listening to this, and maybe he might recant his statement. It's a guy by the name of Jean Pierre. You know what I'm saying? And he's home. He lives in Queens. One of your boys. He lives in Queens, and I'm in touch with his brother, Alexander Pierre, by the name of Doughboy, and he did me a favor while I was away, and got me in touch with his brother, and Jean Pierre is one of the guys he's around, so I'm hopefully he's listening to what I'm saying, and he will find it in his heart to to help me, to
Step up.
to step to the plate. But I don't want him to help me in the way that a lot of dudes like to be helped. If he got to give someone else's name, whether the person did it or not, then not leave me with this crime. I could live with this. But I don't want you to take something away from me and give it to another, because I don't know if you lying to that other person. Just come with the truth and know that. Tell the truth. I have nothing to do with this murder. I don't even know who the murderer is. The best thing that ever happened to me was Pirate. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been like fighting with the demons living in Brooklyn. So I had to leave Brooklyn because I don't know if I was shaking the murderer's hand. And he's making a fool of me. So I said, you know what, let me get out. And I'm in the Bronx, man. and you know I enjoy. I love the
Said,
Bronx.
"Come
I
on up
enjoy
here,
it.
come uptown,
So
man."
you know now I'm you know I'm down with you know with Gilly, Miko, Peter Shue. You know private. You know and I'm a Watson Avenue boy now. You know I'm a Bronx boy now. You know, unfortunately that's
From
that
Brooklyn
was
to
the
the
outcome,
Bronx.
man. You know.
And so,
Shout out to Brooklyn, though. We love our Brooklyn.
but why you can't say real quick before we get to Pirate? I'm just asking you why you can't just say why you can't just say yo Flip. You know, I'm not asking you for the details of the trial. I'm not. I asked that. I tried to set that at you, but why you can't just admit that this man who is a rapper, and we're not disrespecting the dead, that he was on your case. We can't even say that because what is it taking away from your other endeavors?
No,
That's what I'm asking. No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
That was my friend, man. Like I told you, in 1986, I went away, and their family moved to Texas, and they enjoyed their life, and I went and did my.
Was he
my
a part of your case? That's all I asked.
Well, I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna answer that. Do you want to hear that? You really want to
Nah,
hear
but
it?
you being sarcastic.
No, I'm not being sarcastic.
And I have a lot of respect for you.
No,
so
I'm giving it to you. No,
I'm not-
I respect for you. Do you really want to hear it?
I want to hear the truth. I want to hear if he was a part of
It's gonna come out in my documentary, man.
So you can't tell me you come on Flip the script and you can't just say yo Flip he was a part of my. I dubbed it down as much as I can. I'm not getting off the subject. I dubbed it down. Hold on. I dubbed it down as much as I can for you out of respect of Crime Faces because they're coming out with a documentary. I spoke to them on the phone.
So you're saying
We ain't hiding nothing. I spoke to them on the phone out of respect for you. That's why I spoke to them on the phone because I respect you. Because it's hard to get on the phone with me. And I'm asking you. You said you don't want to say nothing. I respect that, but I asked you, can you at least say if he was a part of your case? Yo, Flip, he was a part of a case. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
That's it. We can move on. I said as a friend.
All right. I didn't say he told him or not.
I got you. And I respect that. But I know that you know. If somebody question me, I'm posting paperwork. Oh, now you gonna say, yeah. I respect you. I got a lot of love for you.
I appreciate
I know I show him a lot of love because he's a funny guy. He's the same height. But I got a lot of love for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate
You know
that.
what I mean? And I definitely want to say one more time, salute Crime Faces. Check out their documentary that's coming out. I think that.
By the way, on Saturday, not said that a rapper by the name of Ballistic Man and Gorilla Nems is doing a video, and they shout out to both of them. And it's based on rap. It's based on the word rat, R-A-T, and they invited me on a video, for their shoot. Well, I appreciate that. So shout out to the brothers.
Respect. Pirate.
Yes, sir.
Because you keep moving around with the mic. We keep telling you to talk on the mic. You're the only one. You don't know if you want to sit up, sit back. I don't know why you just don't bring the mic back so you can sit and relax.
Not there, but then I know I'm moving back up, so it's like I'm good. I'm up
Yeah.
there.
So Pirate, when did the CNC game come into place?
Damn, he jumped everything.
Let's
Oh, we just. Whoa.
Nah, it's good.
What's before that? I mean, we trying to go in order. We don't want to jump too far.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Nah,
You don't want to jump too
We
far.
don't want to jump too far because you met him. I know we stopped off because he talks lengthy, so we had to let him get his rocks.
No,
off.
you gotta let him speak. He got stuff he got to get out. So
Yeah, man, that's my man.
We stopped off when you were talking about you started. I think you said you started selling. What was you started off? No, the whole stick up stuff.
He was a stick up stuff. Yeah,
stick up kid.
He got in car. He got locked up, and then you came back home. And
I was in and out for a while. I was in
ran away twice.
Right, I was in the stick up game for a while. Mm-hmm. I ran around with some of the Lugo brothers. Shout out to the Lugo brothers. Some of them home. Free Brick, Richie Lugo was in the feds right now. I ran around with them for a while. He knows them as well. I still be in contact with some of them. They old school for Greene. I came up under them a generation, behind. But we always collaborate on a few, money making schemes, throughout the years. And then I moved into my hustling. I jumped into the drug trade. Mm-hmm. After I got tired of stick up, 83, 84 came around, and the heroin business was big. The drug trade. I started making contacts on Avenue D on the Lower East Side. I know a lot of people over there, so I started getting hit off, and I started, getting money in Fort Greene on that level now. You know, I was always a fashionable kid, like I told you from the beginning.
Right.
You know, I was fly Puerto Rican running through Brooklyn, and you know, everybody knew, you know, how I was and how I was coming up. So then after that, you know, I caught the bid upstate from 86 to 90, the first 4 years I did. And on Rikers Island HDM, I met Calderon one time.
Mm-hmm.
He was there, you know, I think it might have been 87, 88. You know, I was doing my thing, you know, busting my gun in the street.
Sorry to cut you off, but you didn't tell us why you got the 86 to 90 bid.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was, I was an armed robber for a while, so in between some time when the drug trade wasn't going good, you know, sometimes we had to resort back to picking up the guns. So we caught a case in 86. We robbed this lawyer that had a money belt. We lured him into a building and we took a couple of $1,000 from him. And, you know, we ain't had no mask or nothing.
What's a money belt?
Yeah, those belts, I don't know if they're still around before. Like, a lot of businessmen on Wall Street used to wear them to hide the money.
Really?
Yeah, it'll be
It
like
had like a zipper. It had the zipper.
Yeah, and you
It had the zipper and you stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's old school. You stuff
Yeah,
it
yeah,
with,
old
stuff it with
school.
bills all around. And you wear it, looks like a regular belt.
Pretty
No,
soon,
but
you,
he
pretty
used
soon
to
you're
get
gonna be a
money.
millionaire. You gonna have one of them belts.
Pretty soon, right? Hopefully, man.
There you go.
Somebody
Don't
had
forget
put
me.
us on to him, and then we caught him in the building, and it's me, my brother, and one of my co-defendants, one of my crimies back then, Ed Malavi. And then I got picked out. I was on the run for a couple of cases. You know, when 50 Cent was around me, 50 Cent was telling me, yo, the police was just on your roof this morning, and then 2 white ones. Then I'll be in the evening, they'd be like, yo, two detectives was across the street, binoculars looking at your window.
Wow.
So we was on robbery spree, you know, around that time. And so for that one, I turned myself in. It was too many. I was on the run for a while. My pops, they was kicking in the door, man, agreeing with my pops. He was like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. And then, you know, to get my brother off, my mom was going crazy. So I said, let me turn myself in on this one and then make a deal, see what I was going to get. So I wound up getting the 3 to 6, and I went upstate.
But how did they catch you out for the money belt? How did they catch you up for that?
No, that was picked out in mugshots. That's why the police was looking for me in different cases. We wasn't really using masks back then, you know. We got alerted of that robbery of that belt, that money belt by somebody. We got tipped off, so we really had the time to go, you know, get elaborate with the mask and everything. So we just did it, with the assumption maybe he might not find us in the mugshots. But he did, which I never understood how these people, you know, how they go to the right pages out of so many
That's crazy.
criminals and so many people robbing.
Yo.
How the hell they find my picture? I'm like, they ain't gonna find me. You know, so many stick up kids, so many robberies in New York City or even in Brooklyn. And sure enough, man, they're like, yo, how you coming to get me? You got picked out the mugshot. Then they put you in the lineup. Then you picked out the lineups. I'm on like 5 different lineups at the same time. I'm like, damn, you know, got picked out 3. You know, 2 they couldn't remember or whatever. They were scared or they didn't want to go through with it. So I got picked out, and then I started my bid, you know, throughout Rikers Island, C95, running around. I wound up at HDM. I did some shit in the Brooklyn house where I first landed at. And then they sent me to HDM. We had a little riot over there with the COs on the floor. They sent everybody out the next day. I wound up at HDM, the first time getting there. Throughout those months there, because I was working in a visiting room also, so I got to see everybody, everything moving in the jail, coming in and out. I'm in the visiting room working at HDM, 87, 88. So Calderon was one of the big dogs up there, one of the big names that was there, you know, at the time in the building, which was a lot. Some of the brothers he named, 87, 88, it was crazy, you know, crack era, heroin epidemic. So it was ridiculous. You know, Bronx, Manhattan, Harlem people, Lower East Side, Brooklyn, and Calderon was one of the ones there, and somebody introduced her, yo, this one of the big, you know, the big dogs up in the Bronx off of Brook Avenue. So I met him briefly, you know, we seen each other here and there, but we were in different houses. But toward the end of my bid, I wound up in this medium called Ogdensburg, and he came there from Clinton Annex. And that's a picture a lot of people see that's on all the Instagram pages, me and him in that visit. I mean, on that picture, and he wound up in my unit, in my dorm. You know, he did his homework on me. You know, people tell him now he's a gunslinger from young in Brooklyn. You know, he put work in the streets.
Right,
You know, he got busy on the island. And, you know, I always had a name and I always had my respect, always had my position wherever I went. And he liked that, you know. There's not a lot of people that he dealt with either.
True.
You know, Calderon, you wouldn't really get close to him, you know. And he got close to me, took to me quick. He said, I was a colorful dude in jail. I was wearing my silk stuff in my baddies when I wasn't going on the visit, just to be in the yard. And dudes like, where the hell you going, man? You got to visit? I'm like, nah, what the fuck you wearing all that for? Everybody out here with just dirty greens and boots, and you dressing up in the yard like it's girls here. It's just where I am. So he always see me colors. He said, yo, you was killing it, man. You got the outfits on. He was a little more old school. Calderon was 10 years older than me. George Calderon, by the way, is his name. And he's like, yeah, I remember you from HDN, blah, blah, blah. Then one day he asked me, right before I was going to, I think it was my second board, he said, yo, what's your plans when you go home? And then I was like, well, right now, I don't have really nothing concrete, lined up. Why, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, because I heard a lot of good things about you, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't doing nothing, man, you come up to the Bronx with me. I can give you top position, top pay. I got a serious operation. I already know you heard. And I was ready there. He was buying Mercedes-Benz. He bought one while I was there, the white one that's in the picture that we got. He was like, look, I just bought this. I just copped this. It was used. I think he spent 10 G's on it, he told me. And, I knew it was real. He was telling me about how everything was running while he was in there. He had his cousin running it. And then he said, if you want, man, don't worry about it. I'll set you out. You get home, I'll be home in 2 months. And, we take it from there. So I was like, all right, sounds good. First you don't believe, what's really going on. But everybody else looking at me like, yo, what's up? I see you talking a lot with the man. What's going on? He putting you on. I was like, yeah, you want me to come to the Bronx and, get things done for him, put in that work so we could, get the situation going. And then that's what happened. I went home July of that 90. And I linked up with the people he told me to go meet. And that's the start. That's how I got into the CNC gang. He came home 2 months later, and then, we took off from there.
Now, the CNC gang was a gang in the Bronx, yes?
Yeah, it was really a crew, organization that was running operation out there, on a mainly extortion rackets and heroin sales.
Two cousins, Couson and Calderon, yes?
Right. That's what CNC stands for.
Okay, and they had a rule, one of the rules that I think, and I want to ask you your opinion on this rule. They had a rule that I guess Calderon didn't want any drugs sold on the block when children were going to school.
Oh yeah, that was heavily enforced by all of us every day. At 2:30, 2 o'clock, everyone in the area and it was under our rule had to close shop till 4 o'clock. So it was 2 hours. That's every day, Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sundays, you didn't have to worry about it. And then at 2 o'clock every day, 2 or 3 of us would go around, do our little patrol and make sure, because you always have 1 or 2 stupid people, now ain't nobody around, stay open because the line was long and they didn't want to let, shoo everybody away and lose that. So we had to go enforce it. Not everybody that we had under us, was punks or cowards. Dudes that was, was getting it in, but they had to, fall in line for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? And because we, wasn't playing no games. But we made sure that at that time that rule was strictly enforced.
And the fact is that this man, these people will say by selling drugs in your community is hurting the people, but you guys were able to enforce that rule. Wouldn't you think that's an oxymoron? What is do you respect that? I mean, you guys had to do what you got to do, but do you respect the fact that you kept
the whole situation.
Let me finish. You kept some sort of principle with it. Do you respect that? How do you look at that part?
I mean, to be honest, I always thought it to be quite hypocritical, even though it was, I guess, the right thing to do. But, I mean, if you're going to sell drugs and then just stop for school, because the kids, I get it, but you're still killing the rest of the community. So, by and large, you're still doing the wrong thing as in general. So, I mean, while some people might give you props for doing that, so the kids, when they're coming out, they don't actually see people serving people hand in hand.
Respect.
Because, and then they start seeing that young, and I'm not from the area, I'm from Brooklyn. The reason I got up there was because I'm at Calderon in jail, but this was Calderon's neighborhood. So a lot of people, he knew there and grew up, a lot of people's mothers, ladies or females that he had, and people's fathers, they knew that, seen him as a kid growing up, and now see him running this empire and all this chaos is going on, so I'm sure he has, some type of shame, I guess. So, damn, this place, up in flames. Even while the kids are coming out of school, there's no respect. Like, we try to turn our eye and not bother you or interfere or call you. But damn, at least when we picking up the kids, can we have, at least a clear path, with no negativity surrounding them, while we pick them up and get home. So I guess back in his conscience, he felt, let me at least, put a little shield on it and have, some type of respect for that.
And so you're with the CNC gang. You guys are getting money. When did things start crashing down? Like, were you? Because you got locked up with them, yes?
Yeah, but I actually got busted before the big raid happened. I got busted on my own like a year and a half before everything really fell apart. When I got busted, they were still in operation, and a few of us got busted in the first year. There was like 2 separate divisions of it. The first crew that came out when Cal came home in '90, and then a few of us got busted a year and a half, 2 years into it, and then they recruited a few more people while the first crew was locked up and it kept going. And then they got busted after. So there was like 2, crews of the CSC gang.
Were you home when Caron got killed?
No, I was sitting in Attica when he got killed, actually.
And you heard the story?
Yeah, I found out the next day.
Did you the real story? Or you found out he died?
I heard different versions, so I didn't actually find out how he actually died till I got home and I got the autopsy and the description of the report when the murder, the incident. To some people I knew that had it and they gave it to me because I had heard he got a machine gunned down, shot 2 or 3 times.
So, but I'm talking about what was behind the killing. When did you find that out?
Oh, I didn't find that out till probably right before I came home. That a few dudes had came in and told me that was in the air, but I didn't really, know one way or the other how true that was.
Pardon me, G. And the story is that his cousin, Couson, had him killed.
Yeah, that's the story. There was a split between both of them, and then, I guess they came into disagreements, and with 2 dudes like that, it got real quick.
So you got arrested a year and a half prior. Tell us the day you got arrested and what was the outcome of that arrest? What you got arrested for? Was the outcome?
I got busted with 2 380s and a Tech 9 in Brooklyn. I got followed. There were a few things going on. I had already branched off and was doing other things with other people in the area, in the Bronx. And a few situations that happened, people got busted. So my name came up in a few investigations, like, TNT, the narcotics squad was out there heavy at that time, with undercovers. So my name came up in an investigation, and they followed me from Brooklyn, from the Bronx to Brooklyn. And then once I got down there, I guess they moved on the car, and I had, all the firearms in there. I had a bag of bullets, about 100 shells in it, and I got caught really for possession of the firearms. Okay. So I got taken down for that. And I copped out to that and did 8 years for that because I was on parole. I owed parole. I couldn't get bailed out. So I got caught in Brooklyn. I got ran up into the Brooklyn house, and then from there, Rikers Island, HDM, and then copped out in Wenham State. So
you did 8 years, and that wasn't your last. Was that your last bid?
Yeah, that was the last one.
So you did 8 years, and then but we may have to rewind a little bit. You were in. When did you find out you was in all these magazines and stuff? Before that, pardon me, because you going. Both of you knew the real 50 Cent, or one of you did?
Both of us.
Both of us, yeah.
You knew the real 50 Cent.
He grew up with him, but I was with 50. This is a bugged up story. I was with 50 Cent in Rikers Island, right? And I was sharing the story with him. Bushwicks had got locked up one time, man. God bless his dad. He had got locked up one time, and we was in Rikers Island, and 50 Cent took his sneakers, and I got it back for him. 50 Cent, I took his sneakers. So, the word got to me, I had a co-defendant by the name of, on another case, by the name of Larry Hernandez, who they call Gowanus. Franklin Spoke, that was my co-defendant in a few of my other cases. And when I went in mess hall, I spoke with 50 because we had a good relationship. That was my boy, and I said, yeah, 50, you from around my way, yo, I know dudes normally don't get them back. Please don't strip for me, man. And here I get him a pair of sneakers back.
But you wasn't doing your sentence at that time.
No. That was
figured. I just want to get him. So y'all both knew the Riff. Can you tell me that? Yeah, shake your head. No, yeah, I'm gonna get you no matter what.
I know you're gonna get me.
I met him at 15 though, so I grew up in.
What type of person was he? Like, was he official?
I mean,
yeah.
Like 50 was originally from the Bronx. He was born in the Bronx.
Mm-hmm. He was black.
Yeah, he's black. He was born in the Bronx, and then he moved at a young age to Fort Greene with them. And, he was guard body, and then he got the late 50 Cent. I want to assume, this is not predicated on facts. I want to assume that the name 50 came because of his pettiness at times. Sometimes when we're young, we do petty things, and I think that's where the name 50 Cent came out at. And then I'm not gonna get into the rumors I heard when he passed away, but you heard some stuff that was, to me, was disturbing, because he was my boy. But whether or not it's true, I don't know it's true.
You mean heard some stuff about his character?
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there, because he's dead. I don't like talking about that about the individuals. But when I was with him in the island, 50 was all right, man. When I was in the island, 50 was 50, man.
Was it? I don't know what that means, because I know.
Yeah, he was a wild dude. 50 was 50.
Me and him had problems when I first met him.
Yeah.
When I came from Puerto Rico in '81, after I did that program over there, I was telling you, Ogalcrea, he had this girl that was part of a family that he used to boost. This girl used to like me before I left. When I came back home, is when I saw him. Before I left, he's not from Fort Greene, like you said, he's born in Bronx. So when I came back, and I see him running around with this kid Tommy and this other kid Maurice that's dead, rest in peace. He had them under the wing. They was always out in the street already. We was going back and forth with Spofford and all that. I already went to Spofford 78 and 79. And so I knew Tommy, and we was all in and out of Spofford those few times. So they was in the street and running around downtown Fulton Street getting money. When 50 Cent, I guess when he moved to Brooklyn while I was in Puerto Rico, he teamed up with them. But he started hanging out on my side, and when he moved to Fort Greene, he moved on the middle side, the Monument Walk. I'm from the first side, Fleet Walk, and the two kids that he was running with was on my side, so he was being on my side a lot. The girl that he was talking to at that time was from my side too. So he spent a lot of time on my side, so that's how I first got to see him and meet him. So when I came back, it was like, oh, Taliek, boom, and it was over. And then I guess he was talking to him, so he got mad. I remember he used to have little Tommy and Maurice hide behind cars and say shit to me, go, Taliek is a bum. And I'm looking around, and he was like, yo, it's them little dudes behind the car. And it was 50, pulling their strings, telling them to call me. He had them gassed up. And we almost got into it, but, he stood in his little corner, I stood in mine. But after we did the jury shot, we was in I ran into him in C-74 bullpen, coming from court. And then that's when first time we started talking. Because he heard we did the jewelry shop. He was like, yo, I just did the jewelry shop. I came on. So now he knew it was serious. We was getting money. And then I remember I was smoking. This true story. I used to smoke cigarettes back then. I stopped smoking back in '89. It's been 30 years. But at that time, the top had first came out. And I was fiending for a cigarette I had, and I was in the pulpit. And some dudes had the top. And I was like, damn, I should try that. I said, yo, let me get some of that. I wanted to smoke something before going upstairs. And 50 Cent was like, I don't smoke that top. I'll never forget, he was the first one to tell me. I was a little embarrassed because everybody looked. He's like, don't smoke that for suckers, man. That's for derelicts. We don't smoke that, man. Choice dudes like us get money, we don't smoke that. And I was like, oh. I gave it back to the dude. Oh, no. And I gave it back to him. He was like, yeah, we don't do that. So he knew that a little bit, before me. But after that, so then, we got cool. And then after that, we just used to see each other. And, we ran around. We had a few times when we got money. I was going to take him to the Puerto Rican parade one time with me, but we wound up doing something else, to get some money, and we didn't go that year. I remember it was like 86, 87. But
what year did he die?
87.
I was away, because I saw him right before, prior to me blowing trial. I was in C95 with him. And then I went up in 87. I went up in March, and he died in 87.
C95, 87?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw him, last time I saw him.
That's right before Blue Trial.
I was in C95 bullpen, and he was coming in.
Yeah, right before Blue
He was
Trial.
coming in from court, and I was there. I was like, yo, 50, and he stopped for a little bit, and he went up. And I hadn't got called yet. My house hadn't got called yet. But he died October 21st, 1987. And the reason I know that is because the dude who went down for his murder
is our friend.
Right, it's my man too.
So wait, real quick. Let's back up a little bit. Is it true that he was robbing like celebs and stuff?
Oh yeah, he caught a few people.
50 was 50, man.
He caught a few people. No, he specialized in that. He went around to a lot of shows. Listen, everybody in Fort Greene back then went to shows to rob celebrities. That ain't no secret. If you grew up in Brooklyn,
50
and Manhattan, and 50 led a few of the crews around that time that was going out doing that. Like if it was a show at the Garden or LL or Run DMC, whoever had the heavy jury back then. Yo, let's go over to try to catch them. And a few celebrities got caught from by a few dudes from Fort Greene.
I'm gonna ask a question that may be hard, and I know how y'all may answer it. The person that killed him, was it his friend as well, or y'all just know him? Were they all friends?
Yeah,
they were friends.
Yeah, they was. Yeah.
And 50 died outside of an apartment. Yes, that's a story. He came outside and did he get Mario? Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on what I was locked up, but based on what I was told,
yeah. What?
Based on what I was told, yeah. I was incarcerated.
What were you told?
Whatever you say.
Okay. Why did the person kill him?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
That's an interview for him. I mean, I spoke to the person all the time, and he already admitted to him, did the time for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's locked up
he's locked up right now.
For another
but
case.
I don't really want to speak for him.
Yeah, he's locked up. Unfortunately, he just got 25 years. Right when I came home, I had spoke to him, and a few days after I spoke to him, he got into a little incident. He was drunk, and he got locked up. He got 25 life.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going to see him soon. Cause me and him been close since kids too.
But he admitted it. But did they have a discrepancy?
I don't know. I was incarcerated.
So you didn't hear the story.
I heard what you heard.
But he did his time already, so you can't talk about it because he did his time.
I heard what you heard.
I didn't hear anything.
No,
it's not that he did the time. It's that it's his situation. It's not our place to really speak for him. It's not that he did the time for it, and we don't know. We didn't hear a story. I know the story. He's told it to me a few times, but it's not my place. I was with him in Attica. Right.
I was with him in the spot.
We was all in Attica together, but
respect.
What happened is this. Let me make it a little easier on you when it comes to Pirate. Right now, Pirate's like somewhat in touch with him, and Pirate's supposed to be, hopefully, with his permission, doing his story, documentary. And so,
well, some people that I got,
we're trying to stay away from that.
Want to get in contact with them too.
Man, listen, man.
So I'm supposed to be plugging them into that.
We got to do what you got to do, man.
So you can't say his story, basically. You gotta say. Okay.
Cool. Oye, yo te lo voy a tener que decir en español, cabrón, porque
yeah, but even if he didn't have that thing, even if they
I'm gonna have to tell him in Spanish because he don't understand English.
But even if they wasn't doing a story for him, for me, it's not my place to speak on that
without his consent.
Yeah, because he,
that's not appropriate. That's not appropriate.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying?
But you just said they were friends, though.
Yeah, I mean, they were all for folk. They were friends, they were friends.
I can tell you that they was running around together, getting money for a while. Whatever happened, happened. But
it's not a secret, like. But we just can't. That's not our place.
But you can't say how you got caught neither. How you got caught for it? Somebody told him.
They put the cuffs on him and took him inside. What the fuck?
That's an answer. That's a question for him.
Yeah, right. No, but what they do? Put cuffs on him, right? And put him in police contact.
You're not as good as you think you are.
No, I'm just saying.
I caught you already twice.
You ain't catch me.
Yes, I did. Facts, but
that's a deep question what you asked, but that's a question for him to answer.
We got some.
Because time is running out.
Yeah, time is running out. So we want to get to we got some CDs here. We got some CDs. You know what I'm saying? We got some magazines here. We want to talk about it.
Boy. Pirate, that's Pirate. That's him.
Let's talk about
that's him.
Man.
My man, Pirate.
You see the red Gazelles? Look, back in the days. Young dudes don't know. We was rocking Gazelles back then, man.
I think I want to start right here, Flip.
Okay, take it away, Jay. You into
this picture right here, because behind the scenes, we spoke to him
just
briefly about it. Yeah, I'm gonna turn to it. So, and I didn't recognize him at first. I had to really look at it again to make sure. But
that's him in the middle.
Yeah, this day right here, man. Describe what's going on this day. How did this happen? Because you're in the back in the days book by Jamel Shabazz.
Right.
Introducing Fab Five Freddy. You know what I'm saying? So talk about this picture right here.
All right. So that book came out in 2001, but that picture is actually 1985.
Mm-hmm.
when I was 19 years old there. That's my stick-up days, by the way, right there.
Really?
Yeah, that's what, you know.
Can't see
And like him, I want to just say that for anybody young listening to this and hearing this, you know, don't get it twisted and think that we glorifying the life we live or the crimes we committed. You know, we just telling the story of you know what happened in our lives,
right?
But it's not something that we're proud of or how we live today.
Facts.
So don't, you know, get it twisted and try to follow, you know, that route. You know, if you can go to school and do better and you can avoid yourself all the pain and suffering and prison time we did, then that's what you do, man, because that don't really lead to too much. You know, we some of the fortunate ones that at least still alive, you know, he wound up doing so much time, so he wasn't that fortunate, but he got his life and his health, so he's good. But if you could do something else, you know, don't follow, you know, in that path.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, in this picture, you know, we running around downtown Fulton Street. We so proud down there. Everybody knows, you know, the stories of the 4 Greene people prowling Fulton Street and by the mall to see, you know, who you could catch, what you could catch, make some money off. And Jamel Shabazz is like a freelance photographer who used to go around New York City and photograph, you know, the times, you know, in real time what was happening, you know, like the fashion, and you'll see pictures there of clothing in the stores. And a number of occasions coming out through the mall on Fulton Street, I would run into him, and I always had, you know, a nice outfit on. He'd be like, "Oh man, I love that outfit. Let me take a picture." And then we would let him take the picture. And the first time he was like, "For what?" And he's like, "Nah, I just got it here. He'll show us the table." You know, we seen that wasn't really for nothing negative that he would use it for. So we would allow him to take those photographs. And
so he was posted up in that area to catch the, like, he wanted to capture the culture of the hip hop,
because that was a hub. Everybody from Brooklyn would go down to the mall,
right?
You know, and we lived by the mall, so
Abbey Square Mall.
That's why you see more 4 Greene people in a lot of his photographs than any other neighborhood, because he would set up shop down in the mall, which is in 4 Greene. But he used to be in the Bronx and everywhere too. He got pictures in Manhattan and all kind of places.
So how did you?
That's my brother, by the way. Shout out to my brother Lex on my left side right there, in the Bay Sheepskin, and my man Adidas that's doing 20 down in Virginia. Shout out to Adidas, the black brother in the picture. Those are my dudes.
Now this one right here, you're in the Source magazine.
Yeah,
the 100th episode.
Yeah, the 100th.
L Cool J on the cover, the 5 mics.
Right.
This is big. How'd you get in this magazine now?
Well, same thing. Jamel Shabazz had the photographs, and from what I heard, the Source magazine in the 100th issue was running a fashion piece on the beginnings of hip hop, of gear, and I guess as he had accumulated all these photographs, he must have heard about it, or he must have came to them with the project, and they collaborated and used the photographs and ran the fashion piece.
Were you compensated in any way for these photos, or
years later, after 8 years of litigation? Yeah.
This says this says plaintiff's exhibit. This says plaintiff exhibit on the back of this.
Yeah, that's from the court cases.
Wow.
So wait, hold on. So what you? So tell me what you sued him?
I tried to sue Polygram. Polygram Records put out their CD using my face, my image, to sell CDs. I'm 19 years old in that picture. I'm not getting no money for this. At first, when I saw the magazine, I was like, all right. Now, when they start putting it on CDs, it's making money. I'm not getting no money. So I had to go, consult with some lawyers, and we tried to go after Polygram Records. And Kango used my photo to promote Kangos and Urban Outfitters. That other skinny CD you see, I'm not getting a penny from that.
There's another skinny CD.
It's like, it got crazy, so.
Look at that bag.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The crazy thing is, a lot of these companies folded while we was in the process of yeah.
My man.
It's you?
Yep. And you pull out the CD, the picture's on the CD.
So did you win any
on
money?
The CD?
Yeah, at the end, man. We Kango and.
So you won money?
Yeah, 8 years. Between me and my brother and the lawyer, we split $25,000. So we wound up with peanuts, basically. But it is what it is. After 8 years, we was tired and we just settled.
Well, you got something for taking from taking a freelance photo to.
They was using me to model they hats, and if you buy a Kango, you get the CD. if you buy a book, you get the CD.
Yeah.
And Urban Outfitters.
There we go. Talk about it.
I'm like, come on, man. People calling me, yo, your pictures over here. They're selling books. They getting. I'm like, I'm shooting everywhere. Everybody's calling me. I'm running down, and then I'm like this. And people say, you signed for that? You got permission? I'm like, no, I don't even know nothing about this.
Now, at first, were you just excited to have your face on there? Or
Yeah, the
were
Source
you-
magazine. I was good. I was like, oh, you know.
Your initial response was like, wow, I'm famous
Yeah,
now. Or, you know
I
what
remember
I'm
the first time dude say, yo, you in the Source magazine? I'm like, what? And then I went down and got it. I was like, oh, shit, cool. I seen everybody pictures. It was cool. But then the CDs took on a different, situation.
What about the guy that took the picture? You try to sue him too?
Nah, Jamel Shabazz, he was running off doing his own thing. He basically wanted the companies who was selling,
Distributing, understood.
yeah, doing the
And
distribution.
Shabazz was all right. He was all right too, man.
Yeah, I seen his name on the Harlem, the Godfather of Harlem. So I guess some of those photographs in the beginning, he might have something to do with that. Yeah.
So, when did you join the biker crew? You joined the biker crew before you did the Rough Rider deal?
I knew the Chinglings. You talking about the Chinglings? I knew them since 2000, but I wasn't a part of them yet. The Rough Rider situation was before that.
Rough Riders Volume 4, The Redemption.
Yeah, that's a long story.
So
Make it short.
it was the short version.
Basically, I got signed to them in 2004 because a homeboy of mine, Ben, shout out to Ben, he's doing Fed Time right now. He was down with Rough Riders, with the stunt crew, biker crew, and he knew DNY, the CEOs. And, I always was rapping since Fort Greene when I was young, all throughout jails. Anybody who was in the jail with me, I performed in shows at the festivals and prisons and all that. And when I came home, I started, doing demos. And then my man Ben was hearing stuff, and he was like, "Yo, I should let these people hear it that I know the Rough Riders." So he took them to CD, and then we the Hip Hop Summit 2004. They took me down there to promote when Jen was doing the album release party, and when we came back, they got a good review from my CDs that we handed out because I was rapping in Spanish when Reggaeton was first hitting around 2004.
Right.
And then, they signed me like 90 days after that. And, we did some promotion, ran around, toured 2.5 to 3 years. And then when they did the compilation, Volume 4, I came out on it. Nori was on my song. Shout out to Nori. He came out on the song. And my wife, shout out to my wife, Lisette Jiggles. She came out on the song, too, doing the hook. I had 2 songs on that. But then after that, Rough Riders at that time was still struggling. They had lost a few of their rappers, and they was trying to keep the label together, sign new talent, but it didn't work out, and after a while I got tired, and I wound up moving to Puerto Rico for a year, and I just left the music alone.
Why did you move to Puerto Rico for a year?
I had planned, that was in the plans years before, and I was just waiting, to get myself together, see what happened with the Rough Riders, so I could go down there and move the kids over there so they could experience living in Puerto Rico like I did, because growing up in New York, your Spanish is not, so sharp, and you don't know too much about the island. I wanted them to experience that, so we moved down there. I had plans not to come back, but we came back after a year. And once I went over there, my contract expired. I left the music alone. The Rough Riders was kind of fading more and more, and then I just left it alone after that.
And then you joined the biker crew.
Yeah, then I came back, and then I started hanging out back with the Chinglings. And then, I said, I always hung out with outlaws since I was a kid in Brooklyn. Mainly the dirty ones, the Sunset Park and then Bay Ridge. So I was always into the life a little bit. But then when I hooked up with the Chinglings, I said, let me get me a bike and ride with the outlaw, because I was always into that life, And then that's what I did. And I ran with them for like 4 years.
And then you jumped out of that.
Yeah, after 4 years, I got tired of the politics, and I just wanted to do me. I needed my life back, because when you're in an outlaw club, man, you got to dedicate and devote a lot of your life to that.
And
everything is that.
I'm sorry to cut you off. They were on A&E?
Yeah, they were A&E back in the late 90s, 98. One of the first outlaw clubs to get a documentary done on.
Wow.
Done, yeah. Chingley's been around since 63, before I was born. You know what I'm saying? I'm 53, I'll be 54, and they've been in the Bronx on the same street ever since then. You go up there right now, they're still there. More low key nowadays, but they had a big name back in the days. They came a long way.
So let me ask you another question. Let's get Cause we gotta wrap it up. We only have about like 10 more minutes. Mario. Now that you're back in society, or you came back in society, this you guys, but you're back. You've been back in society, but what is coming up for you?
Pretty much now. I mean, I enjoy my, I'm pretty much enjoying my children. I got, shout out to my son Rick, Showtime, Kike, and my daughter Lisa. And it's pretty much my family, my grandkids, man. I work. I'm not into the streets. I don't have time for that. I'm a working man. I don't subscribe to the foolish pleasures that I used to subscribe to when I was a kid. My thought process is different. You know what I mean? So my thing is like I'm pretty much laid back, man. I'm just enjoying life. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. For the individuals who actually helped me with my transitions. I had a friend of mine that was incarcerated. He's from Queens as well, Michael J. Love, Mike Love, who was one of my mentors in the Black Panther, ex-Black Panther and Black Liberation Army, Herman Bell, who was also another individual who prepared me for society. So like, I go out once in a while. When I first came home, the truth is my children were more my parents than they were my children. They took care of me, man. And I appreciate them. I love them for that. My sons was like, I was their son. Right. They put me in the right path. They make sure that I had the things that I was supposed to have in order to make the transition into society. And I appreciate them, and I thank them a lot for that. So. Like I'm more, a laid back. I used to go out with them now. Now my daughter told me the other day, my daughter Lisa said the other day, Dad, you getting old. You like an old man. You moved to the Bronx. You don't want to do nothing. I'm gonna be 55 in February, man. So I'm more or less laying back, and I don't wanna sound like an old man, but I don't want to be a bad example to the youth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like. What they see is what they get, and what sells today. I don't think you guys really know what sells today. And what sells today in society is not drugs. What sells today is gangs. Kids want to gravitate to that, and they want to be in the streets, and they want to get caught up. And when you want to get somebody to be involved with something, you're gonna give them the good stuff. You're never gonna tell them the bad stuff until they get in, and then they learn the bad stuff about it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't recommend no young man or woman to get involved with anything unless it's going to be something productive. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to progress from it. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be involved with something to be united. You understand what I'm saying? You can get involved with individuals who are trying to get somewhere. Like both you brothers, man. You brothers not y'all. Not that y'all ain't never got in trouble, but y'all not street individuals. Y'all more into like the business aspect. Y'all more into growth and development. Y'all more into your family. This is my second time being here. I was here yesterday on the Peter Shoes interview, and Flip. He has his son here. Teaching them the business. He could be in the streets, right, getting caught up. If you look at what just happened in Queens, a young man, 14-year-old, got shot up in a basketball game, and now the young little sister, project, the young little sister, and that's sad. It's our own folks, we're destroying ourselves, and whether you want to believe it or not, not to sound like a racist, but the white folks, that's what they need. They need us to do this to each other in order for them to grow and keep us down. Because if we come together as a people, man, we could be strong, man. We could be on top. But we so focused on bringing each other down. So when you see platforms like this, you have to commend the brothers. You have to thank them because it's our people. I'm being, last time I was interviewed by white folks, and I was on my parole board. Now I'm being interviewed by black folks, people of my peers, people that understand me. You understand? So we got to appreciate brothers like y'all, man. And I want to thank you both for this interview, man. I appreciate that, man.
I want to read something real quick. Inmate brought Article 7A proceedings to review administrative determination to place inmate in administrative segregation on ground that he posed a threat in safety and security of correctional facility. The Supreme Court, Chemung, I guess county, transferred the Supreme Court's
Chemung County. Yeah.
Shimon.
Is it Appellate Division?
Appellate.
Division.
Appellate. I'm sorry. Can't read. Held that evidence to support determination. Administrative determination assigned inmate to administrative segregation on the ground that he posed threat to safety and security of correctional facility was supported by evidence. The inmate was powerful figure known throughout correctional system as a leader of a well-organized gang. That inmate was capable of contacting inmates at various correctional facilities and ordering them to assault inmates considered to be gangs' enemies. The recent stabbing and death of second inmate was directly attributed to inmate. That inmate has been subjected of 17 misbehavior reports. An inmate resolved conflicts physically 100% of the time. That's about you, Mario Machete, who also was a rat hunter. You thought we forgot.
But watch this. You use a key word. I was a rat hunter, but let me share something with you about that. And this is very, very important.
Very.
White man wrote that. And I want to show you something. Not that I'm saying that what they're saying, it doesn't have validity. Some of it's true, some of it's a lie. And I'm going to tell you what was a lie. I was never involved with a gang. Because Rat Hunter was never a gang. Rat Hunter was an organization.
What type of organization was Rat Hunter?
We was against rats, homos, and rapists, and we extorted. It was an organization. It was not a gang. It's a difference.
How many members were part of the Rat Hunters?
I don't know.
What did you guys do in prison?
I just told you.
When you mean you against it, it means that you
If you're a rat, you're a homo, you're a rapist, you can't be around me, man. You know, that was it.
And things will happen to these type
I
of
don't know.
individuals.
I don't know. I don't subscribe to that no more. You got to ask the rat hunters.
I
I'm
don't
not a rat
subscribe
hunter.
to that. I like when he says that.
You got to ask the hunters, but I'm not a hunter, man.
Oh, so when you were a hunter, were you at the bottom of the totem pole?
I forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you wasn't. Huh? So they had to segregate you. They had to put you away because of this article's about you.
Probably so. Maybe.
Would you like me to put it on the screen to show?
No, we don't got to go through that.
Huh?
You like that scream? I'm gonna break that scream, man.
Would you like me to put it on the screen?
No, we ain't gonna go through that.
All right, but you were part of the Rat Hunters, and you know that's what you guys believed in at the time. You was everybody, because I spoke to you privately. You said everybody do whatever they want to do in society. You're not interfering with nobody as long as
ain't no
anybody
time
doesn't
for that.
interfere with you. You worry about
ain't
your
no time for
grandchildren and your family.
Absolutely.
I want to get that message clear. Same thing with
Absolutely.
you. I see you all the time with your wife in pictures, man. I think it's the most illest thing, man. Inspirational, man.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody says they be like, damn, y'all two always together, like yeah, the couple that everybody wants to be like. So, I mean, that's a good thing. I'm like, damn, we are. So we be bugging. I mean, we flattered by that, and we take it as a compliment, man. You know.
Yeah, Chief, sorry.
Now, before we close out, tell us something that you guys may, regret, or any decisions you guys might have made back in the days that you might want to change.
I heard a lot of people, man. I think about it a lot of times, and if I could do things different, I probably would. But under the circumstances, maybe I might not have been able to do it different. Because situations that I put myself in pursuit of certain things, and that's what the situation calls for.
Right.
But some things I'm not proud of. But you can't change time. Just learn from it, and maybe teach somebody to go about things different if I see them, headed that way. But, to get specific, there's quite a few things. But, yeah, it is like that when you think about it.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be repetition. I think you hit it on in a nutshell. But one of the things I really do regret, man, is not being able to bury my mother when she passed away. I was incarcerated. I was able to go to her wake, but I was not allowed to carry her. I was allowed to give her what she gave me, the love that she gave me,
right,
and bury my mom. So that's one of the biggest things I regret in my life.
Wow.
But nowadays, thankfully, we've linked up with Miko that was here yesterday, and he's been active for a number of years. Like I said yesterday on Peter Shu's episode, shout out to Peter Shu, because he's part of the project, and we're trying to head in different directions. We got Miko putting together projects, helping us put together certain projects, and being that he's got a foot in the door in the movie industry, we got some shows that we're putting together that we're gonna do on stage, try to dramatize certain situations that we've been in before,
Right.
and maybe some people could see that and maybe learn and grow from it, and then probably put us on a better path nowadays that we could benefit somehow off of it.
So you got the show, the plays coming in January. You said,
January
right?
14 at the
January
Tank
14.
is in Midtown Manhattan. We'll update people more on it as we go along in the next few weeks on our Instagram. My Instagram is pirate_Taliek _Pirata. If you don't know how to spell Pirata, it's the same thing as pirate with the A at the end. Taliek is Taliek.
Who gave you the name Pirate?
This pimp from Bushwicks, from his neighborhood, actually, named Ice Cream. That was my man. He had the ice cream on stage to get busy. Yeah, old school, old time.
And why he gave you the name?
Because we had bought some weed from this kid one time, and when we were smoking, it tasted funny. This when we was in the Brooklyn house, and when we opened it up, it was cut with cigarette tobacco. Like, what is you doing, bro? We buying a joint. I mean, you ain't tell us you was cutting it. This ain't, And he didn't want to, give us our money back or give us something else. So me and my man ran in his cell on him, and I jumped on the bed and I had him by back of his collar. He was trying to cover up from me hitting him with an ice pick. So I always had bandanas like you'll see me in a lot of pictures, and I always wore big earrings. And I had my beard back then. He said, "Yo, you look just like a pirate." When you was on the bed trying to hit him on his neck, stab him. So after that, I used to be coming in the dorm from the visit some, and he'll be like, "Shorty pirate, shorty pirate." So that kind of stuck. And then the shorty got dropped out of it. Then the Latinos in Rikers Island was like, "Pirate, Pirata, right? That's the same thing." And then that's how it turned to Pirata. So that's how I got the name.
Give us your social media, old man.
My name is Mario Machete. Mario_Machete 727. 727 come from, that was the building where I got arrested from. I used to live on 727 Knickerbocker. So I used to 727 to remind me of what I've been through.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate y'all coming out to the show, man. Appreciate the story. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Peter Shoe.
Peter
of
Shoe.
course.
And-
You know what I
and
mean?
Miko.
OG.
Shout out to the whole
Shout
team.
Gilly.
Shout out to the homies in the building as well.
Yes, sir. And my man Gaz, check out the upcoming editions coming out on UWF Magazine, UWF CEO. That's also his Instagram. That's Underworld Files. Got a few interesting stories about certain crews that were getting money 80s and 90s. And y'all watch out for that. And
So UWF?
UWF.CEO or UWF.magazine. That's my man Gaz is spearheading
salute.
that.
Salute.
He's in the building right now, so salute to him. Shout
I
out
want
to
to
him.
shout out also the great height. These brothers gave me the shirt, so I came here representing them. You know what I'm saying? They trying to do something for themselves as well, man.
That's what's up.
Everybody trying to market themselves, man. Everybody just trying to get somewhere, man.
And also shout out Crime Faces.
Shout
Oh,
out
man,
to Crime
definitely, man.
Faces.
That's my family.
Make sure y'all get that UWF Magazine first edition. The CNC Gang Story's gonna be in there.
All right. We got to wrap up.
We wrapping it up, man. Instagram at Queens Flip with a Z, at Flip the Script Pod, at DJG Money156. Also, don't forget the 30th of this month, my pops got his big birthday party. You know what I'm saying? He invited you also, so I'm gonna say it on camera so he can hear it and you can hear it. He would like for you to come out, sir, and come see how he shuts down the party scene.
Is it on the boat again?
No, it's actually gonna be in Rochdale Ballroom, in the big ballroom in Rochdale.
Shout out to Queens Flip, the hottest podcast right now. And
Something made a noise. I don't know what made a noise.
Come check, bud.
Nah, it's all right. No. Is that still going?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
That much along? You good?
Yeah. Nah, if we're not good, whatever, shut off, shut off. Listen.
All right. See ya. 30th of November, Rochdale Ballroom. We also got Jeff Fred performing live, so it's gonna be a dope look. You know what I'm saying? Old school vibe. You know what I'm saying? It's always turned up.
Yo, this Queens Flip, URLTV.tv. Listen, man, you're probably not going to see this because the camera turned off. We killed the time, but remember, man, lock your doors, close your windows, close your blinds, open your blinds. And if you see a nigga like Mario Machete on your lawn, don't be afraid to use a firearm. If you see Pirata on your lawn, let him in. He don't mean no harm. I'm from Queens.